Absolutely picking a side. Like, if I have to pick, like, I
Anyway,
would pick
let's watch
Israel over
Asmongold's Terrorist Propaganda by Noah Samson as I eat. Okay.
on every day of the week.
And then we're going to move on to more fun stuff.
Absolutely. Like, it's not even a question. Like, I know that people have, like, this Israel fatigue and they hate Israel, but yeah, I would pick Israel every day of the week. And anybody who doesn't want you to do that is probably listening to terrorist propaganda. That's the reason why. Absolutely.
This is Asmongold. Asmongold is one of the most viewed live streamers in the world. With a daily viewership of over 5 million viewers, this is roughly 10 times the viewership of CNN. And apparently, Asmongold is concerned with peace in the Middle East. How does he propose to achieve this peace? Well, with bombs.
I think Israel should keep bombing Lebanon because Lebanon has terrorists in it. They have Hezbollah in it. And again, they're firing rockets into Israel. They are. They're firing rockets into. I hope he kills every single fucking one of the Hezbollah members in Lebanon. Every single fucking one. And only then will the people there have peace.
On his June 14th live stream, Asmongold advocated for the continuation of Israel's bombing campaign in Lebanon. And in the same stream, he also advocated against a peace agreement to end the US and Israel's war on Iran.
If we make peace with Iran, they no longer consider us a mortal enemy. Why is that not an acceptable outcome to you? Because they're not. They're just going to lie to you. They're ideologically captured. They're religious zealots, and they can't be allowed to, they can't be allowed to be trusted. They've already broken too many deals before. They've lied too many times.
Asmongold's argument for the continued bombing of Iran and Lebanon is that in order to achieve peace, we must get rid of the terrorists. Hezbollah is a terrorist group, so he says, and Iran funds them, ergo, we have to bomb the terrorists.
Can you tell your argument why you consider them terrorists? Because they fund people that attack and kill civilians on purpose and target civilians to kill them in order to achieve political goals. Groups like
Yeah, so America and Israel and every state pretty much that has ever existed that has waged war at the behest of a clear, definable goal. Most of the time, it's just extraction of natural resources. Because if this vague standard is applied evenly across the board, then America is one of the greatest terrorists of all time, and Israel certainly is one of the greatest terrorists of all time.
Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas. It's that simple.
There are a few issues with his analysis here, though. First among them is the premise. Asmongold repeats the IDF's line that they are targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon, but that's not what's actually happening. What the evidence shows is that targeting Hezbollah is just a pretext, one that Israel uses to blow up everything in sight and mass murder civilians. Israel is targeting men, women, children, journalists, healthcare workers, hospitals, ambulances. They are leveling entire cities. They're also routinely using white phosphorus indiscriminately and in civilian residential areas. In the first month of attacks on Lebanon alone, they used it to burn over 10,000 acres of forests and farmland. These are all war crimes. In just the past 4 months, Israel has killed nearly 4,000 people in Lebanon, including hundreds of children and healthcare workers. On average, Israeli forces have killed more than 1 child every day since April. On October 3rd, 2024, Israel bombed a medical center in Beirut, killing 9 people and injuring 14. 7 of those killed were members of the medical staff. That same month, Israel destroyed a significant portion of an entire city, Tyre, one of the oldest cities in the world. They damaged over 400 apartments, completely destroyed several buildings, and demolished a number of ancient historical sites. On March 12th, 2026, Israel bombed a beachside tent encampment housing people that they had displaced from their bombings, killing 8 and wounding 31. The strike came in the middle of the night, and it was a double tap strike. The first missile landed and killed 3 people near the beach, and when people approached to help the victims, the second missile landed. No evacuation warning was issued. This was in a safe zone. In all of these examples of mass civilian death and destruction, what did Israel say it was doing? It said it was targeting Hezbollah. This is their pretext, and Asmongold is repeating it uncritically. And the same is true of Asmongold's endorsement of Israel's stated goal of eliminating Hamas. That may be what Israel says it's doing, but in reality, what Israel's actually doing in Gaza is killing entire families families by leveling apartment blocks, killing toddlers with machine guns, shooting babies in the head with snipers, while they're being breastfed by their mothers alone in tents in broad daylight. The vast majority of the people that Israel has killed in Gaza have been civilians. That is the conclusion of every independent expert. The only one still...
Guys, it's fucking Noah Samson. Like, you know what the link is. I'm so confused. Here you go.
denying it in 2026 are Israel and the United States, and the content creators online that defend them for some reason still. And as for Asmongold's claim about the United States, the same goes for them. Firstly, because they supply the vast majority of the weapons that Israel has used to commit its genocide, but they also do murderous bombing campaigns themselves. In the first week of the war, the United States blew up an Iranian elementary school, killing 156 people, 120 of whom were children. 120 little girls and boys murdered by the United States in a war that they started. Asmongold has apparently consulted the history books and feels vindicated by them.
Every single page of the history book proves me right.
But I'm not sure which ones he read, because if you look back at any point, you will find the United States committing these same kinds of atrocities across the globe for their wars of aggression. The other issue with Asmongold's analysis here is the presence of that word terrorism. What makes someone a terrorist? Well, for Asmongold, terrorism is defined as the use of violence against civilians for political goals.
Because they fund people that attack and kill civilians on purpose and target civilians to kill them in order to achieve political goals.
A part of his definition for terrorism is the inability to abide by the terms of agreements.
If we are signing a deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran, we are just delaying this war until later on. That's what I think. I think that as long as these...
I mean, that definition ironically fits America even more. I don't know why he even said that. You know what I mean? What? Yes, okay. Got it. It's Charlie Kirk. All right, you got it. Hi, Progressive. Thank you. Thank you for showing this to me. This is wonderful. I love it. Stop spamming.
People are in power, you are going to, like, they're not going to stop trying to build a nuclear bomb. They're like, I think that this is what's likely to happen. They will just blow something else up in a week. They will. It's going to keep happening.
But, and I know this reveal is probably so surprising, Israel and the United States do both of those things all the time. They do it by killing civilians, as we just looked at, and funding and arming and supporting governments that mass murder civilians in campaigns of genocide. But they also do it by breaking ceasefires and peace agreements. The most recent example is, starting a war. They started the war and lost, mind you. That's Wikipedia official now. They attacked Iran first, unprovoked. There wasn't a war, and then there was, because the United States and Israel attacked. And the whole reason there's even a need for ceasefire negotiations in the first place is because they attacked. Another important example here is the Iran nuclear deal. Despite observations from independent experts that Iran was abiding by the...
He's watching this right now and defending his insane takes. It's always so funny to watch Asmongold try to justify some of his more unhinged opinions, because he's just not smart enough to even understand the point that's being made. I don't even understand how. All he has is yeah based and yeah not based. I guess the defense here is just yeah, well, they're terrorists. It usually just revolves around these guys being brown. Like the people that he's talking about, they're all backwards and barbaric and must be tamed and only understand violence, right?
terms of the agreement, it was the United States who randomly decided to pull out and then proceed to administer brutal sanctions on Iran, crushing the country's economy in a move that was widely understood to be an unprovoked act of aggression that was condemned by governments across the globe. And of course, the same is true of Israel. They violated ceasefires in Gaza and Lebanon now tens of thousands of times, further displacing millions of people, destroying entire towns, and starving, kidnapping, torturing, and brutalizing the population. Asmongold cites Hezbollah rocket fire as a justification for Israel's bombing in Lebanon.
They're firing rockets into Israel.
But he neglects to mention any of these violations. In Lebanon, in the same time frame of the ceasefire, where Israel committed literally 10,000 violations, Hezbollah fired a total of 4 rockets. But for him, that's a valid reason to promote the IDF's destruction of a sovereign country. So now, okay, of course, there's a double standard, right? By Asmongold's definition of terrorism, which is killing civilians and breaking deals, both the United States and Israel are terrorists. Asmongold acknowledges this directly in response to a viewer in his chat that brings up Israel.
Does Israel do that too? Israel's on our side. Iran's not. It's that simple. And we do that to them too. But it's very simple. It's our side versus the other side. I don't want them doing that.
He acknowledges it further while discussing the United States.
To the extent that there is even a hint of it, even a slight, tiny, some like little resistance army in Africa, immediately bomb the shit out of them. Shut them down, keep it done. Anybody that's chanting death to America, anybody that's going around talking about how they're going to attack the United States or anything else, totally shut them down.
And yet, he still supports them. He still directly advocates for their violence. He gets mad at viewers that point out the contradiction regarding Israel.
AIPAC funded? Right. Yeah, and, again, like, it's Israel. Israel's so bad. These people are trying to blow you up too, bro. Like, that's it. Do you think Israel's interest is honest with America? I'm not interested in your misdirection towards Israel. I have no interest in that. This is...
Wait, what? You're literally defending Israel. It's not a misdirection. That's the whole fucking point of contention, dumbass. It's like, oh, yeah, why are you talking about Israel? As I'm defending Israel's actions. Dana Bash did this to Morris Katz.
Just terrorist subversion.
He even argues that anti-American slogans should be punishable by extrajudicial drone execution, regardless of their validity.
I don't give a fuck what reasoning they have. I don't care what their reasoning is. I don't care what they think is right. It doesn't matter to me. Like, the only thing that I care about is neutralizing that threat. So whatever gets rid of, like, I don't care. Like, you think that I give a fuck about what their reasoning is or what their justification is? I don't care. You're doing it. Okay, that's the problem.
And why does he do that? Well, the answer is fairly simple. He's just a racist. Fundamentally, he views some groups of people as less worthy of life than others. Terrorism is okay when we do it, but when they even protest that terrorism, they deserve to die.
Why do you think they say death to America? Probably because you attacked them first? Well, damn, that's too bad. I guess we're going to have to attack them again.
I mean, it's the purest expression of reactionary politics, right? He's just trying to be as edgy as possible. And he thinks that, like, when America's force projection capabilities are being demonstrated around the world, that he is somehow powerful. This is what weak people do. This is what weak states do. And even worse than weak states, weak people assume that when America is like blowing up a fucking school in Iran, then that somehow makes them feel powerful. And it's ironic because, as I repeat often, every dollar spent on that initiative helps someone, right? But it's not you. Please turn this off. Please, I can't. Just shut the fuck up, man. Just shut the fuck up. Yes. Yes, you can't stand him. I get it. Just fucking leave the goddamn chat, man. This dude is one of the largest political content creators in this fucking space that we're in. I'm sorry that your fucking sensitive baby-ass feelings can't withstand seeing his ugly-ass face. We have to look at it for a little bit, okay? Jesus Christ, dude. I don't personally love watching Asmongold chirp endlessly. I wish for a world where he could go back to talking about titties in video games, and it would greatly diminish the negative impact that he has in the space that I occupy. But the reality of the matter is, a lot of people actually feel this way, and they personally ride for this kind of politics. I don't understand why you entertain anything this road says. He's clearly determined. Are you guys like genuinely unable to comprehend what I'm doing? Like, Noah's making this video not to convince Asmongold that he's wrong. Noah's making this video, and I'm watching this video because there might be Asmongold fans that can understand that he's wrong. Okay? Do I go to the Jiffy Lube you work at and listen to your dumbass coworker's opinions and then highlight how stupid he is? No. You want to know why? Even if it's identical to Asmongold's worldview? Because your coworker at Jiffy Lube is fucking irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, because he doesn't have millions of people listening to what he has to say and repeating the dumbass talking points that he's delivering. Do you understand why I watch Asmongold instead of your coworkers? Stop fucking crying.
Americans and the Israelis, the inhabitants of our overseas proxy military colony, we have a right to live, and they do not. We have human rights, and they do not. We are human, and they are not. To quote Asmongold himself, it's really that simple.
It's that simple.
But for the opponents of racist mass murder, it's not enough to just point to the double standard. Asmongold's position, while racist, is logically consistent because he's a racist. It's also not enough to point out the infinitely disproportionate nature of this violence. The fact that Israel has killed, at minimum, 10,000 times more people than Hamas did on October 7th is irrelevant to supporters of Israel. For them, it can all be explained by Hamas's lack of firepower. If they had the weapons Israel had, they'd do the same. Israel just had to kill tens of thousands of children, because in a hypothetical I made up in a dream I had, they did the same to us. Israel had to, as Asmongold put it, nip it in the bud.
If you don't kill them, they will kill you. Now, they might not kill you today, but they'll kill you in a year. They'll kill you in 10 years. To the extent that they have...
I mean, this is genocidal exterminationist rhetoric, the idea that they have to die. It's a justification for why they had to die. This is basically him going back on what he had previously said, that he apologized for because he ate a fucking 14-day ban for, and doubling down on it. He basically said Palestinians are barbaric, they're backwards people, and they will kill all the Israelis, and therefore genocide is baked into their identity, it's baked into their consciousness, and therefore it's perfectly valid to wipe them out. That's why he received a ban. And then, as soon as he received that ban, he came out and he was like, I'm so sorry about my words and my sentiment and the things that I expressed. It wasn't like me, whatever. And then everybody celebrated that he fucking cleaned his room. And everybody thought, oh yeah, he's fine. It's been a year and it seems like he's going full blast again. Full fash. Of course, the difference between Asmongold and myself is that I'm going against the grain. I'm going against powerful forces in not only American politics, but in international politics. Forces so powerful that they can stop you from traveling to another country, a totally separate country like the United Kingdom. Asmongold, on the other hand, is leaning into the pro-American policy position, the pro-Israeli policy position. He's leaning into the centers of power, and therefore he can get away with saying this kind of genocidal rhetoric, and no one will fucking do anything about it. Do you understand? It's that simple. You go against powerful forces, they will come after you. you align with powerful forces, they will defend you no matter how unhinged your sentiment is.
The capacity to, they will use that capacity to harm you. So my goal is always to nip it in the bud, stop it from even beginning to happen.
No, the double standards and disproportionality are not enough. The only way to get to the bottom of this terrorism quandary is to find the inception point. Where does this all begin? And looking at the historical record, the answer is pretty clear. Before Hezbollah existed, Israel invaded Lebanon, killed tens of thousands of people, the vast majority of whom were women and children, directly facilitated the slaughter and rape of thousands of civilians in the Sabra and Shatila massacre, a massacre the United Nations General Assembly declared an act of genocide. Hezbollah was formed in response to this genocidal invasion, as a group resisting it, fighting to get Israel out of their country. And that's exactly what they did. Before Hamas existed, Israel stole Palestine. Between 1947 and 1949, Zionist forces destroyed some 530 villages, and about 15,000 Palestinians were killed in a series of mass atrocities, including scores of massacres. 750,000 Palestinians, over 80% of the Arab population of what became Israel, were ethnically cleansed. This event, the Nakba, and all of the violence in its wake, this is the inception point. Regardless of the label you use to describe these groups, the moral calculus doesn't change. Resisting invasion, occupation, and genocide through armed struggle is moral and just and legal under international law, and it should not be condemned. Your own personal feelings towards the methods are irrelevant. They do not matter, not when you live in the West and not in Palestine, and especially not when those objections are weaponized as the pretext for genocide, which is what Asmongold demonstrates in his video here. So, as I said at the start, Asmongold is one of the most widely viewed live streamers on YouTube. He gets millions of views per day, several times more than any other political live streamers in most news channels. And when these millions of viewers click onto his show, this is what they are greeted with: terrorist propaganda.
Israel should keep bombing Lebanon because Lebanon has terrorists in it. They have Hezbollah in it.
Profoundly ignorant, factually incorrect, and morally demented propaganda for US-Israeli terrorism. I don't know how convincing any of his videos are, arguing that terrorism is okay when we do it because we're the good guys. It's not as compelling to the average person.
He paused your videos as well as other people's videos every 2 seconds just so we could gather his talking points and not allow yours to get across. Yeah, but there's only so much of that you can do. His audience must also recognize what he's doing here, right? With respect to his defense of Israel. I'm fairly certain that there are probably people that see his defense of Israel and they're like, this is fucking bullshit. This is like totally ridiculous, Anyway. Nah, most of his audience are fucking stupid. Do you think he's getting paid? I don't know. I don't know if he's getting paid. I mean, he propagandizes like he's getting paid. He's chirping like his money relies on it, Misstating facts is a convenient way to get clicks, but the Times has been documenting the increasingly extreme viewpoints on both sides of the political spectrum for years. What? There are dozens of actual far-right extremists in the House GOP caucus. People have said and done racist, corrupt, crazy things, and you've never heard of them because the Times and other establishment media outlets. Yeah. It's just, whatever. Who cares? I think it doesn't really matter if he's getting paid by Israel or not, but it would be stupid for him not to be. Notice how none of these clips are seen on Twitter. It's almost like the entire Twitter clip economy revolves around defending Israel. I think people don't really care about Asmongold's opinion on Israel at the end of the day. That's what it is. I don't think like the neo-Nazis care because they see him as a they see him as a launching pad for Nick Fuentes. Like he has that clout. And he's very openly said, like, he's a funnel for Nick Fuentes. Like, he's actually actively trying to move his audience in the direction of Nick Fuentes. So, obviously, someone as clout obsessed as Nick Fuentes is never going to fucking turn around and shit on Asmongold and rock that boat for himself, even if he is supposedly at odds with Asmongold's very clear defense of Israel, right? Not that it matters. I mean, he gets to hit both angles. He gets to both say that he is like in support and actively aiding and abetting a neo-Nazi movement, but then he also gets to defend Israel this way, and therefore he will not receive a ban. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want about how much Lebanese children deserve to die, as long as you're couching it as, well, they're fighting terrorism and I defend Israel, you can get away with it. Could you imagine anyone fucking running around and being like, Hezbollah, like, I'm not even going to say those words because I don't want it to get clipped, okay? But role reversal here. If I was talking about Hezbollah against the civilian population of Israel in the way that Asman has justified Israeli actions against the Lebanese population, I would not make it out. I would not make it out of this fucking the end of this sentence. I would get banned immediately. Okay? Not only would I get permanently banned off Twitch, I would be on the front pages of the New York Times and CNN and MSNBC and all these other platforms that would be like, see, this guy's a fucking dangerous radical. That's just how it goes. If you defend powerful groups and powerful entities, if you defend the American government, no matter how indecent the American government's actions are, you're not going to get in trouble. And the same with Israel. If you criticize the American government's actions, or God forbid, you criticize the Israeli government's actions, no matter how tame those criticisms are, it still doesn't matter. You're still going to be at the crosshairs of a lot of angst, animosity, enmity. They're going to demand that you get deplatformed. That's just how it is.
As it might have been 20 years ago. Not when we have access to live footage of the reality of what that terrorism results in every day, and our governments can't keep it under wraps. This channel is just a place people can go to have their feelings of racist bloodlust validated. It's a safe space. But if there is anyone watching that wants to actually engage with the facts critically, I would encourage them to consult any of the resources on screen now. That goes for Asmongold too. Read any of these reports on your stream if you want to leave your echo chamber for a moment and contend with the fact that you...
This is the sentence where Asman pauses you and goes, see, he admits it. He knows it's different, and that's why I can say it, because it's true, when the real reason why is because the corrupt implementation of the regulatory process in Israel's favor. I mean, I would love to see how Asmongold defends himself against these accusations. I mean, they're not even accusations. It's just like basically his own words being repeated with extra context. But he responded, it's even worse. Yeah, I guess. He was reacting to this video earlier. I saw it in the thumbnail. Is he live right now? Is he still talking about it?
Like, the thing is that, like, yeah, and it's been better though. So really, like, I don't view this as a war against the Middle East. I don't view this as a war against Islam even. A lot of these people that are allied with us are also Islamic. When Iran set off their bombs and they had their crash out at the beginning of this war, the majority of the countries that they bombed were Muslim countries. It's not like they're only, like, it was so stupid. They get bombed by Israel, and then they go and bomb Qatar. What
Brilliant.
the fuck are you doing?
Brilliant. Yeah,
One
they
day,
were
hopefully,
bombing
we'll get along with
American
Iran.
bases. They were bombing American bases, and it was actually a very successful initiative from the Iranian side, considering that, you know, they lost, that the Americans lost the war. These are proxies. You can't have American military bases and launch missiles at a sovereign nation and then not expect to receive retaliation. It's an unbelievably low IQ argument. He missed it. He said some crazy shit while reacting to this video earlier. What did he?
And I want more people to know that. Citizens, then we need to kill people in Hamas. I don't care what happened in 1950. I don't. That's the difference.
Enough. The only way to get to the bottom of this terrorism quandary is to find the inception point. Where does this all begin? And looking at the
Iran. which is the reason why we need to dismantle the IRGC and kill everybody in their leadership and get rid of Iran. And make sure that the Iranian people, by the way...
With what army? With what tools? Bro, this is... You know what's crazy about this analysis? It already ended. Like, Iran won. The United States of America could not withstand the economic damage that Iran was dealing to the rest of the world by shutting off the Strait of Hormuz. That's the reason why there's a memorandum of understanding at play here. And everyone with more than 3 working brain cells recognizes this reality. And Asmongold, on the other hand, is on a fucking copium tour actively denying said reality. But I guess there are plenty of people... there are plenty of people in his audience that are perfectly happy with being lied to, because the alternative would imply recognizing that maybe the American military is not this like omnipotent, super powerful being that can defeat all enemies on a whim. And ironically, right now, as we speak, Iran and America are fighting one another once again. Okay? He couldn't even debunk Noah right after this. It was so pathetic. Keep playing.
The Iranian people, and this is something that we always forget, the support for the Iranian dictatorship or theocracy is under 20%. This less people support the Iranian dictatorship theocracy than supported Maduro when we took him from Venezuela. They're totally oppressed over there, and Iran kills their own people.
Record, the answer is pretty clear. Before Hezbollah existed, Israel invaded Lebanon, killed tens of thousands of people, the vast majority of whom were women and children, directly facilitated the slaughter and rape of thousands of civilians in the Sabra and Shatila massacre, a massacre the United Nations General Assembly declared an act of genocide. Hezbollah was formed in response to this genocidal invasion, as a group resisting it, fighting...
Yeah. The approval rating conversation is really funny because he's a Trump supporter. And the irony is that the IRGC and the Ayatollah and the Islamic Republic has a higher approval rating inside of Iran than Trump does in the United States of America at this point. Trump's disapproval rating is at its highest it has ever been historically. And we know that there is a 30% base of support for the Islamic Republic coming from the hardline Shia population. And that popularity has probably only grown as a consequence of Iran actually fighting back against Israel and the United States of America in defense. There's always a rallying around the flag effect in countries like this when they're being directly bombarded by American and Israeli munitions. So the irony, of course, here is that the Islamic Republic's popularity amongst the masses has probably grown. As a matter of fact, not even popularly, we know that it's grown, given the unbelievable amount of support and all of the mass demonstrations that have taken place. So that doesn't necessarily matter overall in the justification to explode a country's like leadership. Obviously, I don't think Asmongold would be agreeing with the argument that if China decided to assassinate Donald Trump and then said, well, sorry, you're very unpopular. I don't think Asmongold would like that. I don't think anybody would like that. I don't think anybody would be on board with that. That would be a severe violation of international law. And yet America gets to do it because nobody else can say no to the United States of America. And that's like Asmongold's entire argument, right? Might makes right. Well, saying that argument maybe 125 days ago would have made a little bit more sense. Saying that argument in the aftermath of Operation Epstein's Fury is kind of idiotic, because if your whole worldview is law of the jungle, might makes right, America has the power so they can actually enforce their wishes upon other countries, and then other countries actually fight back and win, you can't make that argument any longer. There's a reason why we have to abide by international rules and laws, right? So that, you know, people don't just set off fucking random nukes
to get Israel out of their country. And that's exactly what they did. Before Hamas existed, Israel stole Palestine. Between 1947 and 1949, Zionists...
They did. What do you mean? They fucking what is that? That's not even a retort. Is this how it goes? Is just Asmongold learning facts?
Forces destroyed some 530 villages and about 15,000 Palestinians.
I'm not interested in the sand wars. I don't care about the sand wars. I'm sure there's blood on everyone's hands.
Oh my God, this is the best argument he has. Oh, they're just like sand people fighting one another. Dude, it's so funny when guys who are super edgy have to defend Israel. It's my favorite thing to watch. Okay? Guys who are super duper edgy, who will be like, yeah, based, the Holocaust, Nick Fuentes, based, will then turn around and become the most annoying woke scolds or the school marms that turn around and tell you like, oh, you can't be saying that. You're defending terrorism. That's illegal. You should go to prison, please. You hurt my feelings. And it's really funny watching Asmongold do a variant of this. I've seen a bunch of these guys do it on Twitter too. Like there's obviously the Nick Fuentes coalition out there, the Groypers who hate Jews and use the hatred that people have towards Israel to create more enmity towards Jews. But then there's also the super edgy guys who are still very much in line with the Republican Party and its agenda. And those guys will actually, and have actually, for the last 3 years, constantly complained about me and constantly cried about how mean I am and how much I support terrorism. Yeah, the captive dreamer and the BAP sphere. Exactly. The Bronze Age pervert and captive dreamer. And numerous other guys like that, like the howling mutant guy, like all these guys, I thought they were fucking straight up neo-Nazis. And then October 7 happened, and every single one of them was rushing over to defend Israel somehow. And it was shocking to me because I genuinely thought they would be just like Nick Fuentes. Turns out, no, they were just being edgy while also maintaining a defensive posture of Zionism and everything that Israel was doing. Is very funny.
I care about American interests right now, right here in 2026.
Okay, great. If you care about American interests, especially off the heels of a fucking ginormous defeat that America withstood, America had to eat as a direct consequence of Israel's goading of America into military action. You should be begging to sever ties with Israel. You should be demanding that America punish Israel and maybe even take back some of the tax dollars that we've sent to Israel to the tune of $380 billion over the course of 80 years. But no, you are not saying that because you're a dick rider of MAGA and Donald Trump is obviously in support of Israel. And it seems like you might even be getting paid to defend Israel because you're defending it like you're getting paid.
All of this historical babble, all of this bullshit means literally nothing to me. I care about what is happening right now.
Yeah, what's happening right now is gas prices are on the fucking fritz. There is a massive inflation problem that the American working class is facing. Donald Trump ran on no new wars and started many, including the Iranian war at the behest of Israel. And there it is. You're arguing with an after image Lamau. Buddy, I don't think you can be saying that about Asmongold. I would love to argue with Asmongold in real time, but he actually shits in his fucking diapers every time the thought even comes up. This is all he does.
Were killed in a series of mass atrocities, including scores of massacres. 750,000 Palestinians, over 80% of the Arab population of what became Israel, were ethnically cleansed. This event, the Nakba, and all of
sounds really bad.
The violence in its wake, this is the
It's always like, look at me, I'm so edgy, I'm so sociopathic. It's all vice signaling, right? It's always like, oh, I don't care about these guys dying. I'm fucking cool. It's not like you're a weak person. You're a weak phony, you know? And not only are you a weak phony, but also America's spectacular defeat in broad display of the rest of the world has actually limited American capabilities now. in an irreparable manner, as a matter of fact. It has made it clear to the rest of the world that America is on a downward trajectory. Our force projection capabilities have been eviscerated by a middle power like Iran, a country whose economy we were able to successfully dismantle over the course of the last 47 years. And we did all of that. We threw all of that. We threw all of the billions of dollars in military assets into a trash fire at the behest of Israel. No previous president, regardless of their party identity, had ever done this for the exact same reason why Donald Trump did it and lost. They knew that this would happen, and that's the reason why they were never dumb enough to lean into Benjamin Netanyahu's idiotic posture.
Point. Regardless of the label you use to describe these groups, the moral calculus doesn't change. Resisting invasion, occupation, and genocide through armed struggle is moral and just and legal under international law, and it should not be condemned. Your own personal feelings towards the methods are irrelevant. They do not matter, not when you live in the West and not in Palestine, and especially not when those objections are weaponized as the pretext for genocide, which is what Asmongold...
I don't care what happened in 1950. It doesn't matter to me. What's happening right now is the problem. Whenever Hamas goes into Israel and they kill American citizens, then we need to kill people in Hamas. I don't care what happened in 1950. I don't care what happened in 1970. The moment that you do that, the second that...
What about when Israel kills American citizens? As it has done so on numerous occasions, all the way from USS Liberty down to this past year. There are American citizens trapped in Israeli prisons right now, teenagers, as a matter of fact. What's the argument there? Oh, they're just, they're based. They're doing it in a based way because they're allies. Interesting.
You do that, you are an enemy of the country.
That happened 50 years ago, Hassan. Come on, buddy. I just brought up USS Liberty and then tied it back to Israel currently killing American citizens.
And you need to be annihilated. That's it.
Also, of course he cares about American citizens being killed in the past. That's how he justifies blowing up Iran. Why would we blow up Iran right now? What American citizens have Iran killed in the last fucking, in like the last year, in the last 2 years, before the Operation Epic Fury started? The fuck? His argument is dependent on minimization, which is why he'll pretend the issue is because of actions in 1970, when the reality is Israel was slaughtering Palestinians in every single year of the past 70 years. And his viewers have to have this misinformed view, or they'll see what the root cause of the issue is.
I don't care about all of your sand war history. I don't care about all of the...
Again, then also leaning into his own personal lack of interest and his own personal idiocy on the matter. Oh, historical context is irrelevant unless I can use a false understanding of history to somehow justify current American military action against Iran. Okay? Yeah. If you don't care about things that happened in the past and you're like, oh, it's just sand wars, why do you care about October 7 then? Why is October 7 a reasonable justification for Israel to do a genocide? Why are you still in support of Israel's genocide if that's the case? Like, what's the timeline? What's the standard? Obviously, there is no consistent standard. He doesn't have any real opinions. He hasn't really thought about this. He's just reacting to the wind. His entire point is to just oppose whatever guys like myself or guys like Noah are in favor of. That's all this is. And also defending the American government's actions unconditionally, even when it actually hurts Americans' interests overall. And the same goes for Israel. What's shocking to me is not that he defends America unconditionally. What's shocking to me is that he actually defends Israel unconditionally. That's the reason why I think there's, foul play here, potentially some moneyed interest at play here.
this context. I don't care about what Israel did in 1951. None of that's relevant to me. If you like these countries so much, go over there and live there. Go live there. But what I'm so fucking tired of and so exhausted from is you have these people who basically are Americans in name only that always take the side against America.
It's really interesting. Being in opposition to the American state is a God-given right held by every American. It's actually un-American to demand no opposition to the American state. As I've made it very clear, my loyalty is with the American working class, is with the American people. I want to do things that improve their lives, that improve all of our lives. Sometimes the American state is at odds with the interests of the American people. As a matter of fact, most of the time, the American state's interests are at odds with the interests of the American working class. You should understand this better than anybody else as a reactionary. When there's a Democrat in charge, you oppose the government, right? You oppose the government unconditionally. You yell about it all the time. You did with Joe Biden. It's not like you were a fan of Joe Biden, right? What are we doing here? Now, of course, because of my consistently held principles, I oppose the Biden administration when it does a lot of things that actually hurt the American working class. And I oppose the Trump administration in the exact same severity, if not even in more severe manners, because the Trump administration is even worse somehow. That's the difference.
These are people that support literal terrorists. Hamas doesn't just simply want...
Yeah. Thought terminating cliche, terrorists, 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 all day, every day. One thing that's true in every country is that the patriots who constantly yammer about the most about how they love their country always hate all the other people in the country. Yeah. A serious country would have already deported these two. Says American as fuck. America first. If you're an anonymous patriot that's America first, why do you sound so Israeli? Why is America first so closely associated with Israel first? Interesting.
Israel to leave. They want to kill every single Jew in the world. This entire premise that, oh, Hamas are freedom fighters. Well, then if they're such great...
Yeah, that's also bullshit. The idea that like Hamas wants to kill every single Jew in the world is fucking wrong. It's idiotic. It doesn't even matter.
Freedom fighters, then why are the people from Gaza asking for freedom from Hamas? Maybe there's a problem.
Dude, this is Israeli propaganda, hook, line, and sinker. Oh my God. Every single Palestinian, including those who actually have reasonable disagreements with Hamas, will always tell you that the number one problem that they're facing, understandably, is the Israeli occupation. Okay? Also, Asmongold is supposed to be a guy who actually opposes mainstream media and the propaganda coming from mainstream media. But when mainstream media is doing propaganda straight up out of Tel Aviv, he loves repeating it. Remember when mainstream media was talking about, liberating the Iranian people from the treacherous IRGC? And he was like, oh, we got to liberate the Iranian people. Oh, how quickly he turns around and says, I don't care about these sand wars when it comes to actually, addressing Israel or America's actions. He goes, I don't care about these sand wars. Also, we should liberate the Palestinian people from Hamas. Yeah, liberate them how? By genociding them. And when we talk about that genocide, he goes, I don't really care. Wipe them all out. He is just a edgier, less washed version of Jonathan Greenblatt at this point. He's a skinnier version of Randy Fine at this point. Recently, he called to deport a Muslim American lawyer because she's a foreigner. At this point, Twitch can just unban Nick Fuentes? Don't say that, because Twitch will unban Nick Fuentes.
Should concern everybody.
I have no interest in hearing about my constitution from a foreigner who should not even be in my country. If you think that Thomas Jefferson and George Washington would even allow you on the TV to talk about this in the first place, you're out of your fucking mind.
In this country.
Based. Go back to your country, complain there. All J6 protesters were patriots. They're on my side, so I want them free, and I want all my enemies jailed unfairly. Shut it, fatty. She sounds nervous even talking about this. Go back to your country, complain there. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson would probably get one-shotted by the concept of a television, but
In the direction that it is
This
taking
country.
us.
Yeah, not your country, this country, my country. Go home. Go home, get the fuck out. That's what I think.
please, treason hanging. Trump, a rich man who came to terrorists, wait till they see what a poor man will do to them. My boys would have been dropping bodies a long time ago. America's a melting pot. Well, that's interesting that this guy said that. This whale needs investigating for aiding. She's lucky she even has a voice. Omegalol. Fatty. I don't want to hear about the Constitution from a hog is what I think. Why is a Muslim legal fund defending terrorists in the USA? Based. I don't think anyone died in the attack, but an officer got shot in the head. Thanks for speaking the truth. Based. Want a blanket, bitch? You look cold.
Look fat. Yeah, is this you for or against America? State your position. Yeah, this is it. And I'm very and look how scared they are. Look how terrified they are that this is happening. They can.
Yeah, I wonder why someone whose entire job is to, defend American citizens would be worried about tremendous government overreach that is directly a violation of the First Amendment that will then illegally prosecute and throw the goddamn book at one of the 9 defendants for simply holding a box of magazines. And not like ammunition. I'm talking like actual zines, okay? Zines, like the fucking written literature. One of the 9 people literally got 30 years in prison for that. That should be terrifying to you if you're an actual American citizen and not someone who hates America. If you care about the Constitution, this should be a terrifying prospect for you too, you fucking idiot. A government that does that to anyone can do that to you as well. And one day they will. You just don't think this government will ever do it to you. He said the government should have killed them.
Conspired and attempted to kill a federal officer. They were found guilty by 12 jurors beyond a reasonable doubt. And not to mention the fact that a bunch of the defendants literally admitted that it was an Antifa terror cell that was planning on killing.
Yeah, all this is bought bullshit. Anyway, where were we?
Problem here.
We're watching this.
Maybe there's something wrong. And to be honest with you, while I can commiserate with them, it's fundamentally not my problem. What they do over in Palestine,
Dog, Israel doesn't do any of this without American tax dollars, okay? And not only that, but Israel also violates your constitutional laws in the state that you're in, the state of Texas. I communicated this to Asmongold the last time he actually had a conversation with me in real time. He obviously did not like that experience so much because he felt like it was a lecture. He felt like he was learning things, and perhaps even worse, his audience was learning the truth. Do you remember when I talked to him after his anti-Palestinian statement, which he received a ban for when he justified the genocide of the Palestinians by claiming that they were barbaric? I told him about anti-BDS measures. Okay? I told him that in his own state that he's lived in his whole life, in Texas, that in order to be a public school teacher, you have to sign a loyalty pledge to the state of Israel. This is a direct violation of the First Amendment. And he was like, wow, that's shocking. I didn't know that that happened. I can't believe it. That's actually something that I oppose. Don't you think that that's significant? That's an American problem. That's not just sand wars happening over there. That's happening over here. It's happening in your backyard. It's happening to you. It's happening to your neighbors. Nothing that Israel does alone. Without the United States of America's unconditional loyalty and support, Israel wouldn't be able to do the violent things that it does. Israel wouldn't be able to conduct a genocide. And not only that, but if you think differently than the American State Department, Israel will demand you get punished. And this current administration will do it at the behest of a foreign nation state.
They do in Israel, what they do in Lebanon, is only in the purview of American interests to the extent that it affects us. If they want to fight and have battles and wars and civil wars and everything, that's totally up to them.
How the fuck does this guy get views? He's not very intelligent and he's very hateful. And there are a lot of people who are who live in like similar conditions to him, who have similar attitudes to him, and they want to hear someone else with a large enough platform that's basically spitting back the same thought-terminating cliches so they can feel as though there is a sense of community there. One that they can't receive in the real world, because like this kind of sentiment in broad daylight would be received, would receive a lot of backlash. Like a lot of normal people would, if normal people in the real world heard you talk like Asmongold, they'd be like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? So these guys just congregate on the internet and fester in their own hatred. So at least there's that. Like, think about what I do versus what Asmongold does. Like, can you imagine Asmongold going out at the behest of a political movement, organizing, getting people elected on the platform that he preaches? No. I mean, Asmongold doesn't have a true ideological perspective anyway. He's a pure reactionary, only self-interested, nothing else. Nick Fuentes is a version of Asmongold that actually does have a political vision, an agenda, a clear-cut goal of what he wants to turn America into. So that's even a better example on the opposing side, right? Look at Nick Fuentes' movement and look at what we've been able to do. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is Asmongold's audience, right? Okay, guys. A person who says unbelievably hateful things, and then we look back at their point of view and we realize that, you know, there's a reason for all of that sadness. Not realizing that watching Asmongold and festering in all that hatred and enmity is probably hurting his chances of recovery. But yeah, bleep rapist. Just followed Hasan so I can call him a, what is this? Censored. Something rapist in 24 hours. I'm stoked, boys. Did you see the fighter jet that got shot down over Iran? The pilot saw alien drone swarm before ejecting. Pentagon released the info yesterday. I always wonder why, like, certain like identifiable silly stories that come out of the Pentagon, like who that's for. And now I'm seeing it in real time. I'm still here, bro. 9 hours. Fuck Islam. Muslims make it dangerous, dumb fuck. Fucking R-word ass cucks. That's it, pussies. Be nice to Muslims so maybe they'll stop raping kids. Make amazing fucking sense. I'm a father and a U.S. Marine, and I'm so depressed I want to kill myself on Father's Day because my family and child hate me. I hate me, but I'd rather watch Zach Rar and die later. Yeah. If you're wondering what the mindset of like a regular Asmongold viewer is, it's that. That's Asmongold's demographic. If you're truly wondering what the mindset is of a guy who just like sits around in Asmongold's chat and says like, yeah, base, kill all the Muslims or whatever, that's it. That's what it is.
But fundamentally, the focus needs to be on American interests. And right now, American interests are not in the best interest of allowing these terrorist cells to continue operating. We have to spend billions of dollars every single year to create countermeasures for Iranian terrorism by proxy.
Anyway. So yeah, it's just, that is what it is. I wish these people well, because I mean, even from a point of self-interest, I feel like if they were doing better overall, they probably wouldn't be so hateful and wouldn't be spreading such odious ideology all around the internet. But I wish them well on its own virtues as well. I don't want anyone to fucking feel like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, here's Asmongold's reaction to teachers signing papers to defend Israel. Family members that are school teachers, you have to sign a piece of paper that says you will never participate in boycotting or demanding sanctions or demanding divestment from the state of Israel.
Holy fuck, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh my God, what a joke. I never heard of that.
So
that's so fucking stupid.
So that paired up with the new...
I mean, like, no, here's the thing, right? That's fucking terrible. You're totally right.
Yeah.
That's all, like, I mean, because, yeah.
This is why he doesn't want to have a conversation, by the way. This is why he's terrified of having a conversation. He's terrified of, you know, being forced to agree with me, because he's always like performing a certain role. Banning congressional stock trading.
Yes.
Yep. Ending America's war on Iran.
And these are easy. Yep.
Ending America's embargo on Cuba.
Nope.
Yep.
Ending aid to Israel.
Yep.
Ending aid to Israel. I don't know about
A
that.
free Palestine. Why? Yeah, I don't know about that. Even his audience is minus 7K.
Of course.
No thoughts about that?
Okay.
Sus. It's like Van Jones doesn't want to talk to you? Yeah. Well, maybe one day we'll talk to Van Jones. Who knows? He needs an intervention. I mean, sure, but it's not going to happen. The intervention will come eventually when his audience actually wisens up to what he's doing. Given how much they love his unlimited racist agitprop, they're too busy focusing on how much they hate, just like Asmongold, trans people and whatnot, to recognize how much pro-Israeli propaganda Asmongold engages in.
Are supporting terrorism when you say stuff like this. I personally don't think he'll do that, but you know, I figured I'd ask anyways, just in case stranger things have happened. But anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Join my Patreon if you...
Yeah, great video from Noah. Let's see, since recently Asmongold watched it. Now do Hasan. Weird, you don't have one of these with Hasan with the same title name. These guys have nothing. All they have, base Roach King, cry harder, tankies. Why do you hand Asmongold free wins, sire? All bots. They got nothing. They go but Hasan. That's it. Pathetic. United States aircraft just struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites for violating the ceasefire agreement again. It is very possible that they will never learn. There may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced militarily to complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. President DJT. James Fishback stream snipe speed to ask if he's voting for him. Gross. God, he is so fucking clout hungry. It's nasty. Scott Libido on Fox. Wait, what?
I make a note and revisit what you guys said earlier. I have never seen so many people, so many cool people. I'm a conservative, you know that, but there are Democrats here, and we're not talking about anything except patriotism and the celebration of America. So all of these self-hating media outlets who are saying that this fair is a failure, get your butt down here, and I will prove you wrong. This is historical. This is epic.
Hey, Scott Lobotomy, more people attended my backyard barbecue. Hey, get your butt down here. There's a lot of people here, but you should get here right now. Come see how fucking blue the pool is. It's not green. U.S. government and sycophants shocked by a ceasefire that requires you to actually cease firing. Jennifer Griffin reports, chief national security correspondent for Fox News. I asked a senior defense official why the U.S. has had to go back and restrike these sites that have been hit multiple times since February 28th when the war began. I was told Iran has reconstituted its air defense and missile systems along the Strait of Hormuz since the U.S. bombing campaign ended on April 7th. That, the source said, is why the U.S. military is now having to restrike areas like Keshem Island and Shiddiq, which they had struck in the past. In the time since the ceasefire on April 7th, Iran has reconstituted, thus the targets around the Strait of Hormuz. A senior U.S. defense official tells me, there is a lot that is damaged, a lot, but they moved things around. It's been 10 weeks since the April ceasefire was announced. That's crazy. Did you not just see the American-Israeli flag hanging over there at the American celebration? Wait, what? No, I did not. Denver ballot return data updates. 68K Dem plus unaffiliated Dem ballots in, about 15,000 higher than at 2024 at this point. 4 days out as a share of total ballots. The 18 to 39-year-olds is at 26.2%, so up 5% higher than 2024, up 3% higher than in 2022. 65 plus, though, is still at 40.8%. The 18 to 39-year-old block typically surges in the final 2 days, so already being this close or this high is a huge sign. This could be one of the youngest electorates Colorado 1 has ever seen. In the past, the 18 to 39 final jumps were +8 in 2024 and +4 in 2022. Still need all gas, no brakes. Young people have to turn in their ballots, and every single door knocked and call made gets one more ballot in. This could be as close as Daria Liza Avila Chevalier's race, or even closer.
Everybody, hello everybody.
What up, Speed?
What's up? What's up? How's it going?
Are you voting for me?
Huh?
Are you voting for me?
Voting for you.
August 18th, running for governor.
August 18th.
Yeah.
You are? Well, hello everybody.
That's so fucking desperate. Yes, there's another phone banking session tonight. The phone banking chat strat is so OP, lol. Yes, we got to keep doing it. We got to keep smiling and we got to keep dialing. Just got back from canvassing for the DSA City Council candidate in my district after meeting with him at a house party fundraiser last night, and now he's asking me to join his comms team. Thank you for your part in equipping me to message and communicate politically. Hell yeah, new gooch boofing. Oh yeah, Dadia Lisa made a video in support of Melot.
It's been a great 2 weeks to be a New Yorker, and I am just so excited for everything that we've won. This past Tuesday meant the world to me and to so many in this community, and I know that we can do it again, and we can do it in Denver, because Melot Kiros is running, and her election is this coming Tuesday. So if you're in Denver and you want what we just won in New York, you need to go out and vote for Melot Kiros, and June 30th is the final day for you to cast your ballot for her. So make sure that you have sent in your ballot by 7 p.m. Please go out and support her. She is a working class fighter. She's a former barista. She used to work in a law office where she was fired for standing up for students who were protesting a genocide. She is someone who will fight for you tooth and nail, and you deserve nothing less than somebody who's going to fight for you, for the politics that you deserve, a politics of life, a politics that will fight for Medicare for all, to make sure that we are passing an arms embargo, and to make sure that your tax dollars come back to Denver. Guys, it has been a great 2 weeks to be a
Scared to phone bank? I want to do it. Any advice? You should not be scared to phone bank at all. They literally give you the talking points. Is the easiest way to overcome your social anxiety, or your phone anxiety rather. What is this? Wait until the people find out who fired Melot have to call her their representative? Yeah. Dude, look at all these Fox News article titles. I mean, headlines, dude. Look. Gutfeld. Now they're not even bothering to hide it. Jesse Waters. This is going to get wild. Liberals allergic to facts. Former FBI deputy director. Hasan Piker. These videos are never going away.
Do not let these people.
Yeah. 35K views. Running the clips. Wait, what is this? Hamas over...
October 7 was done to kill as many Jewish people as possible, I think is incorrect. I'm pro-piracy all the way. Would you steal a car? Like, yeah, sure. If I could get away with it, if it was as easy as pirating IP, I would do it.
America deserved 9/11, dude. That's a whole lot of healing. Guys,
Quit the FBI to get 35K views on a fuck Hassan video? That's crazy. You got mentioned here?
Because it gives people like Hasan Piker a stage. But at the same time, you don't want to be like the Democrats who pretended like it wasn't a big deal, and now their party's gone socialist.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Like, you brought that up the other day, and
I like that I've become a catch-all terminology for dumbass boomers who watch Fox News. Like they don't even need to explain who I am or what I'm doing any longer, because they did a sufficient amount of like Hassan is a dangerous terrorist propaganda. So now they just like bring me up to be like, yeah, these guys are giving a platform to Hasan Piker. You're a nightmare. You've become a meme. I mean, honestly, I'm terrifying fucking some of the most reactionary boomers on the planet. That's not terrifying. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, Haley Stevens apparently is posting her own L's. Let's take a look. She says, Republicans start spending money to prop up Abdul, and now his supporters are attacking my appearance and the way I talk. Democrats behaving this way is why Republicans will keep winning. Grow up. Wait, what? Democrats making fun of your voice is why Republicans keep winning? That doesn't even make any sense. Republicans, as a matter of fact, make fun of that sort of stuff. And that's why they win. That's like what Trump does. The path to taking back the Senate runs through Michigan, and I'm ready to win it.
Someone I want to roast. Haley Stevens.
Absolutely.
Haley Stevens is running for Senate in Michigan, for those unaware. No one told me she looked and sounded like that. She's like... Wait, I actually want to pull it up and play it.
She loves corporations. Horrible. Also, I need to, as you were doing that, I need to pull up a photo that I got from you that I use consistently now. So please keep going.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And they're delaying the release of their personal financial disclosure. What gives?
Look.
She's growing on me. She's growing on me. The what gives? What gives? She's kind of cute.
I'd love to ask.
Stop.
If so, how?
Stop. I'm dreaming of Israel every night when I go to sleep.
I kind of...
Israel comes to me in my dreams, and I say, stop. What gives?
Neera Tanden, for all those old enough to remember the 2020 primary, the media pundit influencer treatment of this race is perfectly distilled down to Biden equals Haley, Sanders equals El Sayed, Warren equals McMorrow. Biden was definitely the uncool one online.
How much did you give?
Yeah, Biden was a fucking abject failure. Thank you for comparing this mid-white woman. No, dude, I'm not saying... What? Are you implying that I'm attracted to Haley Stevens? I'm just saying it's like she's growing on me because of like a cute, quirky character. If she wasn't so pro-Israel, if she wasn't so pro-Israel, I would say nice things about her too. It's the Midwestern charm, I think. Yeah, it's the Midwestern charm getting to me. Stop.
Jesus. I'm sorry, Michigan. You have a terrible accent.
Firstly,
apologies to Michigan. It's awful.
I've been going, what gives for 24 hours?
It's not good.
It's my new stim.
That's a bad stim. I was about to say bad stim.
It's my new
It is, but here's the thing about the
It's
accent.
giving.
Yeah. What gives?
Peter? Peter? I'm like, oh, so you talk like Lois from Family Guy?
It's a bad accent, but it feels like she's leaning into it.
Why are we not talking about this?
It's not good.
What gives?
Oh, Gregory Meeks.
Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer both hail from New York City, but they are not the dominant force in their own hometown. For the moment, the distinction belongs indisputably to Mamdani, obviously the mayor of New York City. Do you accept that?
No, I don't. Look, it is a New York City problem that we've got to be focused on because I think it is clear that when you listen to at least some of the statements that have been made, that they don't want to be a part of the Democratic Party. They want to.
Bro, Gregory Meeks throwing fits again. Bad guy, but undeniable swag. Okay, Grandpa's got fucking swag, dude. I have to reckon with it. Okay, genuinely swagged out, crazy style.
Divide the Democratic Party.
Hakeem Jeffries.
My 72-year-old lived out mom is saying said she's hearing them talk about social democracy in the news now and saying it isn't scary. Good. Why is he villain? Why can't BR stalk them for DSA? What? James Carville's so pissed about DSA gains. He's going on Fox News now. Oh, God, James Carville is so funny.
Oh, how people describe themselves at all. That's one thing. How they vote is another. Jason Crow, we've recruited veterans all across the country, vote vets. We've been in a lot of seats like that. And these are the kind of Democrats that I want to help and be a part of the same party. I don't have anything in common with Ms. Chevalier, and I really don't want to be in the same party she's in.
Okay, leave, bitch. I mean, you haven't been that relevant since the Clinton era anyway, right? What is this? The biggest national security threat facing the United States is not coming from China, Russia, or Iran. It's coming from inside the country. It's the threat to the middle class and the erosion of the American dream. When people can't get ahead, when you work hard and still cannot save money, cannot buy a house, cannot pay your electricity bill. Why does she have to operate like a CIA agent every time? Like, when I hear this from Elisa Slotkin, it makes me feel like she's saying she wants to eradicate threats, both foreign and domestic. It's like, we got to go to the Jiffy Lubes and we got to jail every political dissident. Someone who doesn't look like you or talk like you or pray like you. And what we typically think of as the key to the American dream, that by putting your head down and working hard, eventually it will pay off. It's just not cutting anymore. Like, I don't even disagree with the argument that she's presenting. She's saying that, like, the greatest threat to our united nation is the material struggles that face the working class are facing. I can't even talk.
Yeah, I'm in the New York Times. Reported, and I have the quote right here. I'll get to it. She is against passed off all their views.
It's funny because he had to suck it up and defend Graham Plattner recently. And now an even more radical challenger comes to mind.
She has attacked interracial relationships in the American flag. Lady, I ain't in the same party as you. I'm sorry. I just not. And I actually do think it's time for Democrats to talk the S word, schism. I really do. Everybody's always said, no, we're a coalition, we're a big tent. And there's just some shit that I can't be in the same tent with. And we talk about what Madame was 3 for 3 last night in Manhattan.
Madame.
They call it the Commie Corridor. Fine. Jason Crow's service pack, vote vets.
This is my favorite. This guy always looks like he's sleeping. Oh, this is so awesome.
For 11. You wouldn't know Jason Crow exists. Okay.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know Abdel Sandberg exists. You wouldn't know. I want to be very specific. I understand the free press for being here because if they nominated David Duke or something like that, we'd be the same way. I understand all that. To the extent I understand.
Dog, what do you mean? There's no equivalence between Daria Lisa and David Duke. What the fuck are you talking about? They are on the diametrical opposite side of the political spectrum. You, as a matter of fact, are far closer to David Duke than you are to Daria Lisa, which is why you're complaining. And that's the fucking problem. Okay? And guess what? You're also far closer to David Duke than Daria Lisa is to the actual voters. That's why they voted for her. It's not like they duped people. She didn't run on like a policy platform that she doesn't believe in. She ran on her positions and won on her positions.
The Times, because they are the New York Times, so they have to cover, they are the hometown newspaper. But the idea that we must neglect everything else that's going on,
immediately run to Fox News and be like, listen, these people now, they're different. They're different. I don't like them. They're that gummit. Dag nabbit, they different to me. I don't like different opinions in the Democrat Party. Okay? Carville was wrong in 2000, 2004, 2008, 2016, 2020, and 2024. I mean, he's consistent.
All these other primaries, all the recruits Jason has, all huge, phenomenal successes we've had, and declare that the party is now under the control of the Democratic Socialists of New York City is insane. But and understand, these people do not like Democrats. Not only are they not Democrats, they wish Democrats poorly. So I just cannot.
Yeah, they don't like Democrats. That's why they run as Democrats. And they wish Democrats poorly. That's why they try to get the rest of the Democratic Party to abide by a much more popular agenda that actually encompasses a far greater number of people than what has led Democrats to lose to Donald Trump twice. Yeah, that's what it is. What happened to vote blue no matter who? Well, vote blue no matter who? Well, I got limits to vote blue no matter who. All right? There's a limit. When you start you start talking about, how about no deportations? I say, how about some? How about some deportations? You got to have some deportations, dagnabbit. Like my neighbors. They haven't been doing their lawn work. So I called the INS on them. Told me INS hasn't existed since 2001. Told them, dagnabbit, send me whatever the new version of INS is. They're Latinos next door. Get them out. Here's you reacting to the clip of James Carville and a dead guy.
Really see it because you just go to Soho and Upper East Side and the West Side, or Midtown or whatever. Okay, great. I do go through neighborhoods all over New York, and I can't tell you how many of these grocery stores they are. I think they call them bodegas. They're literally on every block. I don't even understand what he's talking about. Is he talking about maybe expanding food pantries? I don't know. Come on, Jeff.
Come on, Jeff. You fell asleep again. I'm making a good point. Wake up, Jeff. The chatter that linked me this video said, here's James Carville talking to a dead guy. And I didn't know what he meant. Until the big reveal. God damn, dude. You're laughing, but he's dead.
Food pantries? I don't know.
What are they? Come on, Jeff. Wake up. Jeff, you died again. Oh, my God. Isn't Carville the one advising Bill Clinton on his racist sister soldier bashing, where he dog whistled all the Southern white retrogrades that, despite being a Democrat, he wasn't all that different from them? Yes. Worth noting, as a Grand Planner defender myself, James Carville was singing his praise a couple weeks ago, but is horrified by Daria Lisa, even though they're both running on essentially the same platforms. Yeah, except Daria Lisa doesn't have a Nazi tattoo.
Maybe there's a way,
or had,
that you can say to, I guess Mandami is the leader of it, is, you insist that, try to insist that the people that run under your banner run as a democratic socialist and don't use the Democratic Party as your guideline, and let's negotiate the terms of a schism here. Maybe we can part under some kind of advantageous terms for both of us. But I'm done. I'm not.
Oh.
That fucking political party. I am totally comfortable in a political party that spends time questioning the policies of the government of Israel. In fact, I'm enthusiastic about that. I don't want to be in a political party that denies the right of the state of Israel to exist. That's just not. I just can't do that. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jeff is alive. Jeff is alive. Yeah, I'm not. It's cool. 10 years ago, he wouldn't have been comfortable being in a political party that even wants to criticize the state of Israel. So that's nice. Progress, baby.
It's just not doable. They are a great gift to Donald Trump.
Jeff has Pixar features. The fuck? Anyway, what is this? Ossoff? Let's see how John Ossoff is messaging. Bro, this motherfucker is doing rallies and aura farming non-stop, okay?
I don't know if you saw the mess in Washington last week. The president was
Someone said not just last week.
So humiliated in Hormuz. He threw his toys out the stroller and refused to sign the affordable housing bill. Did you see that? But wait, that's after he gave some felon donor a no-bid contract for the reflecting pool and it filled up with algae, which for some reason required the deployment of the National Guard. And then because of his war and his tariffs, inflation rose to over 4%. He promised to bring down prices on day one. Do you remember that? Do y'all know what today is? Today is day 524, and groceries, rent, and health care are at their all-time highs in American history.
Ossoff plus Obama equals Osama. Think about it all the time. Oh, we can't be living out to this. I'm not living out to it. Olivia Reingold mentioned you.
I think that we need
Good
strong.
bait. Good bait. Where were we on this? How far do we get on this? I feel like we watched this shit.
Half ago. Keep it in mind that macroeconomic indicators are things like inflation.
End up.
Oh, we watched this lady.
Would you be okay with that woman getting an abortion?
All right, I'm going to skip this lady, and we're going to get to Trump is a terrible president. It's right. It's time for the Jube. I'm going to watch the Jube. Okay. I cooked Dean last time I watched it. We're going to fucking watch the Jube again. Jube is back on the market, boys. It's back on the menu, boys.
Trump is a terrible president.
All right, if you want to debate this claim, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi. Hi, welcome back.
Yeah.
I don't know, let's see. Donald Trump is a terrible president because he slept his way to the top.
No, I actually think that.
Remember that? That was
Well,
brutal. Hey, listen, floor's
he
yours.
didn't do that,
Why
so-
do you support Trump?
I think that he's obviously done a lot of things. I can't say he's a perfect person, but I do think he has done things to benefit us.
What is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
Closing the borders.
So that's not a macroeconomic indicator.
Yeah,
a
it is.
macroeconomic indicator would be something like GDP growth, unemployment, inflation, jobs reports. And by definition, a macroeconomic indicator is just simply a gauge that we could use to determine the health of the economy overall. So
yes,
once again,
absolutely.
speaking about GDP growth, inflation, like wages,
Well,
so on and
health
so
of
forth.
the economy, if I can dive into that.
One indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden.
The amount of drug use and fentanyl in society has gone down miraculously because he has closed the border and illegal drugs are no longer allowed to.
Oh my God. I hope Dean knows what actually took place here, because this is fucking bullshit. This is one of the things that actually annoys me to no end. It annoys me for multiple reasons. Do you know who is responsible for fentanyl overdoses going down? It was not Donald Trump. It was Joe Biden. It was mass availability of Narcan and safe needle injection sites that and numerous other harm reduction initiatives that the Biden administration implemented while they were in charge. And for the first time in American history in the last couple of decades, overdose deaths went down in the last year of the Brandon regime. The reason why I'm annoyed by this is because the Brandon regime, partially because it was led by Brandon, who was a decrepit old man and not a very good communicator of some of the W's that he should have been fucking proudly disseminating, and partially because they were so fucking scared to talk about these sorts of initiatives because they were worried that the Republicans kept hammering them on, oh, you're giving crackheads more crack, refused to even stand on that W. Unbelievable. I was one of the, I think it was me and Majority Report were the only two outlets that covered fentanyl overdose deaths and opioid overdose deaths going down in 2024. Or not 2024. 2024. Last year of his regime. Isn't that fucking crazy? Yeah. It decreased for the first time under the Brandon regime. That's so goddamn annoying.
Come in.
Do you understand the question I'm asking you?
Yeah, I do. And I'm answering it.
So the amount of people that use drugs in society could, of course, influence macroeconomic variables. Like if everybody was drugged up all the time, nobody could go to work, right? So therefore, the macroeconomic indicator of unemployment would be really high. Okay, so it's not directly the macroeconomic indicator, but rather it's an influence of the indicators. So directly, what is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago? Keep it in mind that macroeconomic indicators are things like inflation, GDP growth, wage growth, real median wages, unemployment, job reports, so on and so forth.
Same thing. I'm going to go with drug use.
Dude. Okay.
Dude, I'm
listen.
a girl.
So what macroeconomic indicators did drug use influence? Are you saying that now we have a lower level of unemployment because of that?
By closing the border and not allowing illegal people in here, giving me and so many other people job opportunities that they weren't allowed to have before because companies were employing illegal immigrants, just like the weed farm in California that Newsom was directly supporting. They had children.
So you want to work at the weed farm? Would you work at the weed farm? Is that what you're doing now? Are you working at the weed farm now? What jobs have opened up in your mind that you have taken or anyone that you know has taken now that undocumented migrants have been fired from them?
At the age of 9.
You're an influencer, so you probably are oblivious to this reality, but the job market is absolutely fucking dog shit. No, not Zaza Bert. What the hell is this? Zaza Bert, stop. Don't get to the bottom of that joint. Zaza Bert, they'll kill you. No, Bert. No.
9 years old illegally here working for them. Those people are no longer allowed here, giving job opportunities to others. That is benefiting the economy. Period.
So is that why we added the lowest amount of jobs to the economy in 20 years, ignoring recessions last year under Trump? Is that why we have the highest level of unemployment since the pandemic?
Is it not opening opportunity?
Yeah, it's not. The reason why mass deportation...
It is, actually. It is.
The reason why mass deportation doesn't open up job opportunity in America is very simple. Because ultimately, undocumented immigrants as a demographic are very economically productive. They pay over $100 billion in taxes
and
per
those
year
jobs
on the
are
federal,
now
state, and
open
local
for real
level.
Americans
And they
to
pay
have.
in $1.1 through $1.7 trillion to the GDP annually.
They actually don't.
And according...
They actually don't. Have you ever met an illegal immigrant that pays taxes? I'm sure you haven't.
So my source is the IRS. Do you think the IRS is lying?
Absolutely. I'm sure they can.
Trump's IRS is lying. Dude, these people live in a totally separate reality. It's kind of crazy. Like any kind of information that comes from the Trump administration itself is still probably a lie. She has a vote equal to mine. That's so fucked up. Wow, you don't want women to have equal votes. I see how it is. I guess this video is already creating more misogyny in this community. No. Nope, you said it. Wait. Nope, you said it. You said it. Too late. Take a second off.
Lie about statistics all the time.
So Donald Trump's IRS is lying about how much...
It's not Donald Trump's IRS.
Well, that's what the IRS is saying today. Who's the president?
No, well, the statistics came in from years ago. You've used that since the last time we were here.
Do you know who Scott Besson is?
No.
He's the administrator of the IRS. Do you know who he was appointed by?
Donald Trump,
Donald
I'm going to
Trump.
assume.
And Scott Besson and the IRS under Trump still report that. And listen, it's not a contestable fact.
So you don't believe that removing a certain population can allow opportunities for others to come in? You
because
realize
it makes the economy less productive.
I have family that are refused.
Yo, businesses go out of business, ironically enough. Like, it actually has a downward... It actually has a negative effect on the economy when you just mass fire some of the more productive parts of the labor force. You're not opening up job opportunities. You're crippling entire businesses that are all interconnected.
Opportunities, healthcare, and other resources due to the fact that it's oversaturated by people who do not have a citizenship here. And by closing those borders and not allowing those people to come in, it gives them the space to have that because that's what my tax dollars should be paying for.
So do you think that undocumented immigrants can access like federal Medicaid, Medicare,
They
so on and so
can,
forth?
actually. They can.
Do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I actually know that they can because I
Do
have
you know
family
what the
members
Personal Work Order and
that can perfectly walk
Responsibility
in
Act?
and they can get checked.
Wait, she has undocumented family members? I'm sorry, what? What the fuck is happening, bro? Yo, this happens way more frequently than you would think. And it's still crazy every time I hear a mass deport Trump supporter turning around and being like, I have fucking family members that are undocumented and they can get all of the federal aid they want.
Month per month, living month per month, and we support that. Our tax dollars that we pay, we support
Can I
that.
get a yes or no? Do you know what the Personal
Wait, never mind. She wasn't saying she has undocumented family members. I misunderstood.
Order and Responsibility Act is?
I believe it has something to do with jobs and paying taxes no matter your...
No. The Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is a bill from the 90s that strictly limits and prohibits any type of federal public welfare benefit
And
from being
not
given
everywhere follows
to
the law, obviously.
undocumented
Here in California, we have...
immigrants. I'm going to continue to speak. There was one slight addendum to this with Obama's EMTALA, which just says that undocumented immigrants can get life-saving emergency care if they need it. But the point is, when you suggest that undocumented immigrants are reliant on these federal systems of benefit,
And they are.
anyway,
They
from
are.
Medicaid to Medicare to Section 8 to food stamps, they're not. It is
They
literally
are. They
illegal for them to
absolutely
collect
are.
those benefits.
And they do anyways
Do-
because
listen,
states like
by-
California allow it.
Doors open.
We pay for it.
You're
I believe
confused.
No, I'm not confused.
What you're confused about is a
I
difference
know
between
exactly what I'm talking
limited
about.
state level benefits and federal benefits. So you're right.
But it still happens on some level. Can you acknowledge that?
In 10 of our 50 states, undocumented immigrants have the limited ability to collect
But
social safety nets.
that still is an ability, and my tax dollars in California are paying for it. Yes.
Well, actually,
can
their
we agree on
tax
that?
dollars pay for
Absolutely.
it because they pay $100 billion per year in taxes, and they subsidize you.
And people like my brother with disability that truly need those things are being cut.
They're completely different systems.
They're being absolutely not.
Yeah, they are.
Nope.
What's Medi-Cal?
Medi-Cal, my brother gets Medi-Cal, and they also get
No,
Medi-Cal.
it's specifically
yes,
a system of benefit for undocumented immigrants that no longer exists.
My brother literally just got something in the mail that says for Medi-Cal.
Your brother's on Medicaid.
No,
on
he's
the
not.
state
He's
level.
on Medi-Cal.
Listen,
honey.
The point that I'm trying to make here.
I'm filing for a conservatorship for my
So
brother. I would know exactly what he gets.
The point that I'm trying to make
and it is getting cut day by day because of the oversaturation and the overpopulation of people we don't even know exist.
Okay,
and
I'll
we
wait
are
for you to
paying
finish.
for them.
Okay.
So do we not acknowledge that by closing the borders, like I'm going to go back to my point, just like you like to do with everybody else, I'm going to go back to my point that by cutting that population off and allowing more space for opportunity for Americans would benefit the economy.
So you're saying that you pay for the benefits of undocumented immigrants when they're paying over $100 billion per year in taxes on the federal, state, and local level. Well, guess what? They're paying for their own benefits in the 10 limited states that give them. In
No, they're
fact,
not. Do their jobs.
I mean, this is just anti-intellectualist propaganda. That's what the IRS says. That's what the Cato Institute, who's ran by libertarians, which is right-leaning,
that's
says.
disgusting for you to say.
Okay, we have
I
to
think it's
pause there. We have to
disgusting
pause
for you to be
there.
hating
You've
on
been
other
voted
ones.
out.
Hater.
All right. If you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, nice to meet you. Mari
Hi,
Carmen Berman.
ma'am. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I want to talk to you about my point of view as a Mexican American Jewish. I'm not saying Trump is perfect, but I'm saying the reason I vote for him and I would vote.
How come they get to have Claudia Sheinbaum and we get to have this Trump supporter? Why is Mexico's steak so juicy, lobster too buttery? Okay? Because there's not a lot of Jewish Mexicans out there. You know, there's not that many. How come Mexico gets Claudia Sheinbaum, one of the most goated politicians in the Western Hemisphere, if not the best, and we get this lady? How'd this happen? They're not sending their best. Check logs, very important. No.
Again, first of all, I want to touch the point that she said about borders, but not about the people. I'm talking about the drugs and the traffic that is coming from my country.
Mhm.
And it's from my government, because Mexico has a narco government. You know who's the only one who has the guts to go right now and deal with the president? Trump, because the other administration didn't do it.
Yeah.
Who went to bring Venezuela, Maduro, to the jail? Trump. And this is affecting United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying everything he's doing is great.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, so I support Israel. Who is the only one who's supporting Israel? Trump. Otherwise, I don't know how we're going to do right now.
Dude, I love when people say that. Like, yeah, the Democrats insufficient in their support of Israel. That's awesome. First of all, fuck Israel. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the notion that the notion. I mean, Joe Biden deserves this so bad. He deserves this. Okay, he's such a piece of shit. Genocide Joe did everything, blew bubbles on it, did everything in his power to allow Israel to continue murdering children in Gaza. And everyone in America is like, every Zionist in America is literally like, he was so bad for Israel. No one does it like Trump.
Oh yeah, let's support a state that's committing a genocide and ethnic
don't talk
cleansing of
about it because
Palestinians and Lebanons. And let's make sure to throw $1 billion a day at a war that's killed 13 of our servicemen and women.
You're the biggest anti-Semite. It's freaking ridiculous. You only said that about her because she's Jewish. You're a piece of shit. Wait, what? Said what? Because I only criticized their pro-Israel takes after she said something about Israel. Beforehand, I was just saying, you know, that there are only a handful of Mexican Jews out there, and Mexico has Claudia Sheinbaum, we get Trump supporters. Do you understand? Like, the joke is, I love Claudia Sheinbaum, and I don't like this lady because she's a Trump supporter. It's also a joke about Donald Trump saying, they're not sending their best. The joke also factors my praise and admiration for another Jewish Mexican lady, her name being Claudia Sheinbaum. That's the joke. As in, this has nothing to do with Judaism, which is something you could understand if you had 3 working brain cells. Yeah, that's right about not sending their best, you fucking scumbag. No, you're lying, as you always do. It's because she's Jewish. Just say it. Quit being a pussy. So you think when I said, they're not sending their best, that was my sincere position. Like, as in, like I wasn't doing a Trump voice and repeating Donald Trump's statement. Do you like Donald Trump, by the way? Do you think that lady came from Israel? Or do you think that lady came from Mexico? What do we think? Yeah, replace Claudia in I Love Claudia with anti-Semitism? Not so funny anymore, huh? Yeah, exactly. What does that matter? You didn't even say it like that? Quit twisted and shit? Well, if you actually had subscribed, you would be able to rewind. Have you watched Hassan call burnt peanut an Israeli plant? I like that this guy who is here to combat anti-Semitism in his mind went to a guy who openly says his entire job is to funnel his audience to Nick Fuentes. And he was like, hey, let's join forces together to combat what I perceive as anti-Semitism. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot everything's about Israel. Who are you talking to? She brought up Israel. When will you start streaming on YouTube? It's so much better. Viewers can rewind. It's the best feature. Also, I can't listen while in my car because Twitch. It's imperative that you fix this immediately. I'll never understand why these people, how there are people that actually watch us on. His stupid laugh is so infuriating. Not to mention his take on anything. What time does Zach's stream usually start? PSD, anyone? It's not fair of you to like Claudia because that 100% undermines this dumb fuck chatter's point, and that's not fair. It's totally unacceptable for you to undermine his point of assuming that I have blind hatred of Jewish people with factual praise of a Jewish socialist in Mexico. Do better, please. Yeah, I know. He's like, please just say you hate Jews. Just say it so I can feel comfortable, because in my mind, I've made it up that like everyone that must hate Israel must also hate Jews. And if there is a reality in which there are people who actually have no enmity towards Jewish people across the board and actively combat anti-Semitism unconditionally, if they were to oppose Israel, that would destroy my worldview. And instead of actually addressing the issue, instead of addressing the inherent contradictions, I have realized that I will demand that you be anti-Semitic instead. No, by the way, this is your favorite. This is your favorite content creator, Asmongold. Asmongold fully agrees with Nick Fuentes. He also speaks about his role as a warlock for the movement. No. The movement of neo-Nazism in America, by the way.
Oh, we need a brilliant white man. We need a brilliant, handsome white man to point the way, dark triad, to point the way, dark horse candidate that's going to be America first, right wing. They don't need to be some like trad. You don't need to be like a Catholic integralist necessarily.
Obviously, you know, people who defend Israel are pretty fucking stupid. But I never thought that you'd be so stupid that you would think that this guy is actually invested in defending Jews in any way, shape, or form.
But you do need to be Christian. You do need to be white. You do need to be right wing. And it's simple as like, look, close the borders and no more of the Israel stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and his fucking Jeffrey Epstein sweatshirt, nonetheless.
Anti-corruption. It can be economically populist. Like this can be the mix. This could be the trade-off. Close the border, and then you get your Gibbs. Then you get your welfare.
That's exactly what I said. This is exactly what I have said every single time, over and over.
What happened? Why'd you stop talking?
And then you get your Gibbs. Then you get your welfare. Economic populism, closed borders, tough on crime, restrained foreign policy, anti-corruption. This can be the recipe, and it's got to be a handsome white guy. Lookism.
Because your psychopath audience keeps sending me messages. Okay, well, lock in. You're talking to me right now. You're talking to the big dog. You don't have to listen to what other people are saying in the audience. Okay? What do you have to say? This is your favorite content creator, man. Do you like Nick Fuentes too? Actually, I should have asked that directly. What do you think about Nick Fuentes? No, I don't watch Nick. Well, what do you know about Nick Fuentes then?
Clavicular is a pillar.
Not a whole lot, to be honest. So you have sufficient information to determine that I'm anti-Semitic and you don't know the fucking biggest anti-Semite in modern American history? I just think it's crazy. Your chat telling me to go freaking kill myself. It's kind of crazy, man. I don't know who said that to you, okay? Listen to me. I know who he is. I just don't watch him. So you know who he is. So you know he's a neo-Nazi, right? A Holocaust denier or even a Holocaust enjoyer. And you're watching your favorite content creator glaze a Holocaust denier while you simultaneously think I'm the fucking anti-Semite. How does that work? Explain this to me, please. How does that work?
Fuentes is a pillar. There are many pillars. There are many pillars that are going to build this edifice. Lookism is unironically one of them.
It's absolutely true, by the way. It is. Like, the fact is, like, if you look like a degenerate retard, people are going to think that you're a degenerate retard.
Bro, Asmongold saying that is so funny because you replace Israel when you're talking about Jewish. You do it daily. And I don't want you very often. I've only been in chat for like 6 minutes. Buddy, in the age of avowed anti-Semites gaining prominence, because I think you and I will both agree that anti-Semitism has, exploded in popularity. Why would I feel the need to shelter my opinion, to hide my opinion? No, my opinion is just on Israel. That's it. You're currently watching a guy who very openly says it's the Jews, as a matter of fact. And you're, better yet, watching another guy who defends the guy who says it's the Jews. I don't, because I don't believe it. Not only do I not believe it, I actively fight back against this kind of attitude, this kind of lie, this kind of conspiratorial thinking. Why would I do that?
This is absolutely true.
Lookism, anti-feminism, that conversation's part of it.
Huge factor.
White identity is a part of it.
It's so stupid. I know. That's why it's true. That's exactly the reason why.
Wait, what? Okay, sounds good. What the fuck? Okay, we take those. We take those. That's one conversion.
Understanding
Which, by the way, this
He's
is going to
safe.
be like a meta level thing for me. This is one of the reasons why I don't get involved more in mainstream stuff. It's because I know that I'm a ghoul, and anybody that sees me and sees the way that I act are going to be immediately put off by it. Like he said, I am a warlock. I cannot represent anything on its face because I am a degenerate ghoul.
Variety of anti-Semitism, quote unquote, that we are. That's
I don't think that's the only thing stopping him from, taking a more hands-on approach. That would require him to leave his house for anything but like a Wendy's drive-through. You know?
part of it. There are many pillars, and that's what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I can work from the shadows, but I can never represent any sort of a movement because of the way that I look, I think people see the way that somebody like me looks, and then they are immediately like, you know what?
I assumed Hassan was a piece of shit for a long time, but the first video I watched on his YouTube channel changed that for me. Hell yeah. Well, thank you for being open-minded. Do you ever stop to consider they're projecting when they misinterpret the words being said with the words they're replacing them with, or is that too much? I think for a lot here, you want to know what I actually think? I think a lot of people don't want to realize that there are a shit ton of people out there, a number that's actually shrinking, unfortunately, that oppose Israel on anti-genocide grounds. They're anti-Zionist not because it's, Jewish people doing the violence or whatever, but anti-Zionist because Zionism is a fascist ideology, right? And for these guys, in many instances, they've designed this world where, like, no, I'm progressive. I'm a progressive person, right? So when they actually encounter another progressive person who criticizes Israel, that is so profoundly important in their development, where they believe that if Israel ceases to exist, that, like, another Holocaust will happen, or a litany of other hysterical opinions like that, that they can't comprehend that someone could have a consistent moral position on this issue. So they just assume it's coming from a place of anti-Semitism, hidden anti-Semitism. Okay? Oh, this person must hate Israel because he hates Jews and he's just substituting Jews for Israel. They can't even think of a world where someone just simply doesn't believe that Israel means Jews because they believe it. And you know who else believes it? The neo-Nazis, ironically enough. That's it. That's it. For a lot of people, it's social conditioning. That's why it was important for me to show you guys, like, Israelism, the documentary, and have Simone Zimmerman on to talk about her own journey from being an advocate for Israel to becoming a loud and proud anti-Zionist. There's also a separate reason as to why many of these outlets, many of these mainstream outlets, rarely ever, if at all, hear from anti-Zionist Jews. Anti-Zionist Jews are very prominent in the anti-Israel movement, in the pro-Palestinian movement. And yet, CNN never has them on. New York Times rarely gives them the time of day. None of the mainstream outlets regularly cover anti-Zionist Jews and their perspective, especially in comparison to covering the perspective of Zionist Jews. Because anti-Zionist Jews, for the simple-minded Americans, is the easiest way to comprehend that this has nothing to do with Judaism at all. Israel and Judaism are totally separate things. It's that simple. For someone who has the same exact opinion as an anti-Zionist Jew, myself, my Muslim background makes it a much easier argument to make that, oh, he must be secretly a hater of Jewish people, because that's just how all Muslims are. Do you see what I mean? That way you can carry on this idea that like all Jews are in favor of Israel, as long as you don't, show Jews who are not in favor of Israel.
For another state, per the testimony of Joe Kent. Listen,
this is
okay,
the first
here's my point.
ally
I want to
of
respond.
the United States.
I want to
Is
respond to the
Israel
first thing.
is the first ally of United States. So we
Yeah,
have the
we're
right to
showing-
support Israel. And you know what? God said to Abraham, I will bless whoever bless you, and I will curse.
Yeah, she's like, preach. Optimus Prime in the background going, preach.
Whoever curse you.
Yeah.
If you want to be blessed, in this country needs to be blessed,
Yeah.
needs to bless Israel first.
Ah.
Every single
Bibi the
country
prophet.
every single country who has been cursed Israel is, look how they are
This
right
is
now.
religious
you know,
psychosis.
It's not religious.
It's genuinely
It is.
religious.
Wait, what do you mean it's not religious? You literally just said the Bible. What is the Bible if not a religious document? What the fuck? My source is the Bible, but also my argument is not religious. That one I think is the craziest one. And whenever someone drops that, you're like, oh. Now people are going to say, Hasan, don't you always say Am Israel High the moment that your stream Fs? And it's true, I do that. So I guess I am also blessing Israel all the time. So I will be blessed.
Psychosis.
Do you
You're
see
saying-
how Chavez ended?
listen,
he
you're
cursed
saying-
Israel from the
you were
his
saying-
intestine. He said it.
Hugo Chavez cursed Israel, and that's why he was cursed. Yo, you are crazy, lady. You're out of your fucking mind. Also, you know who's cursing Israel right now? The motherfucking Pope.
You are
From him,
saying,
and he's dead.
okay, yeah, we have to bless the ethnic.
Hugo Chavez cursed Israel, and he's dead.
The ethnic expansionist, genocidal, terroristic state, or else we're all going to be cursed and die. I want to respond to the first couple claims that you made, specifically on topic with
I'm gonna be honest, like he kind of going beast mode on Israel a little bit. Okay, Dean.
Venezuela and the border. So who brings in 70 to 80% of the drugs into this country per the Homeland Border
Mexico,
Security?
Colombia, Venezuela. Who is bringing them?
Yeah.
Who is
No, it's not. It's American citizens, and he just laid a trap. He knows the facts. Actually, it's American citizens. I do that all the time too. Woke Spider-Man is correct on this one.
supporting them? Is Mexican country, and I'm sorry to say it. I love my country, but my government is
Okay,
disgusting.
I'll respond.
It's
Thank
a
you. Thank you for your
narco-government.
response. So 70% of the drugs sold in America, brought into America, are brought in by citizens. Why do I bring this up? Because when we say the undocumented immigrants are the issue, they're the people that are just bringing all these drugs.
Yeah, it's actually 84%, by the way. It's not 70, but that's fine. It's fine. We'll let them have it.
Across the border, then they come here to like women and kidnap children and commit all these heinous violent crimes, is nothing more than the demonization of a demographic that's
Okay, I
actually very
never said all
beneficial
the
to this country.
undocumented people are the one who bringing.
But that's what Trump has
to
said.
become citizens.
And that's why you shouldn't support Trump.
I'm not telling you he's doing everything perfect. I
Yeah.
never say that. I'm talking about the borders that we have more than 2,000 miles border with
Yeah.
Mexico, and that's where they came the drugs, and that's where they came this trafficking.
Yeah, 90% of all drugs actually that are apprehended at the border come through regular points of entry. It's only around 10% of drugs that are actually caught in regular border crossings. It also doesn't make logistical sense. What do you think is easier, to shove a bunch of drugs into the cars, like a chopped up car of an American citizen that's probably less likely to be stopped by Border Patrol, or to shove it in the fucking stuffings, in the socks of a bunch of random abuelas crossing the border under treacherous conditions? Obviously, it's the fucking first thing, right? That's why it's the most common way that people transport drugs over the border. It's so stupid. The argument that it's like all the drugs are coming through, illegal entries is so idiotic.
listen,
people
I actually
trafficking
through legal ports of
and
entry for the most part.
that are killing our people in the streets right now.
So once again, a vast majority of the drugs brought across the border are brought in by citizens through legal ports of entry. And
my Tito was undocumented and he got amnesty under Reagan, is now a Trump supporter. He's also in the closet and most of the family knows. It bricks me. That's awesome.
When I give you an explanation for this, it's going to make sense to you because think about it. Okay, when a citizen is coming in through a legal port of entry, okay, well, nobody just has the innate right per the state to pull them over, scrutinize them, check every nook and cranny of their vehicle.
No, they should.
Because of our Constitution. They should. But when they identify an undocumented immigrant, well, they already have an individual who's capable of breaking federal law. So then they have all the rights in the world to detain them, arrest them, if they need to pat them down or check their vehicle. And that's why a lot of the drugs that come into this country will come in with citizens. But I think my larger point here is I don't think that Donald Trump has secured the border. I think that the reason why we've seen such a drastic decline in undocumented entry has nothing to do with proactive long-term border policy, but rather to do with fascism and human rights abuse. There are people in this country that are getting illegally deported and then tortured in places like CCOT. Executive Order number 14160 attempted to unconstitutionally reclassify citizens as undocumented immigrants to be lined up and deported by the DHS. We're watching people like Alex Preddy get murdered in broad daylight by ICE agents.
I want to answer to you before you continue. You're talking about legal and deportation. I used to be a foster care liaison. When all these kids in cages, that was not true. I was there. They called us for an emergency meeting looking for families to support these kids. Meanwhile, they were reunified with their families. Reunification with their families. Yes, it was not true that was in cages. That was just the media, what they wanted to portray.
So is your argument that Executive Order number 14160 doesn't even exist?
What I'm saying is the media wants to say what they want to say because they have already,
But this isn't coming from the media. It's coming from the White House
You've been voted
website.
out.
All right.
All right, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Love the idea that Jank has a dual key lock nuclear football briefcase somewhere with the necessary documents to deploy a Zoran presidency. Wait, what? Why? The history of the world might change forever if Cenk Uygur decides to share a secret legal case that somehow suspends the Constitution and makes it so you can run for president without being born in the country. Wait, what? Uygur would not meet the constitutional requirements to serve as a U.S. president under Article 2, Section 1 of the U.S. Constitution. He's a naturalized U.S. citizen. That is to say, he became a citizen after his birth. Not being a citizen at his birth precludes him from being considered a natural-born U.S. citizen, which is a requisite for presidential eligibility. Uygur has claimed his eligibility, citing a 2006 UIC law review paper per law school graduate on a 1964 case entitled Schneider v. Rusk. He claims that he has a slam dunk legal case. He actually did manage to get on the ballot in a few states, so the dream of voting for Zoran for president might not be dead. Nobody threw Cenk off the ballot because it would cost more to hire the lawyers than he'd get votes. That would not be the case with Zoran. You aren't accounting for a secret legal case, though. Okay, why are people making fun of Uncle? Why are people making fun of Unc? I don't like that people are making fun of Unc. He has a legal case. It's slam dunk. He didn't tell me. Leave Unc alone. They made fun of you too at Ingermentum. Yeah, I know. He said, hold up. Have I not been loud enough that his homeland is New Jersey? It's the age thing. I didn't know he was so Unc. Oh my God, bro. Come on, dude. I didn't know he was so Unc. 34 is fine, dude. Yeah, and that's edited. He's actually 44, but he tells chat to keep editing the wiki. Fuck you, Austin Hawks. Yeah, I'm an old ass. Technically, I am eligible to run for president in this upcoming election. It's true. We need you to find the codes. So much for a year of PR. Lol, bro, your fans are really your biggest obs? Always. 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 And also, here's the thing. I will never run for president. Please. Please. It's not going to happen. I'm not running for office at all. Please don't. Please don't think that I'm going to run for office. Okay? Have no fear. It's not happening.
Hi, welcome in. I think we should start this off a little bit.
I didn't even sit down.
I know. I'm talking to you while you're standing up. Hi. Okay. I'll slow it down. What's your name?
I'm Kaitia, but you can say Tia. It's a lot easier.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tia.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being here. Listen, I say we start this conversation off a little bit differently. Can I tell you why I think Trump is a terrible president?
That's what I was going to ask you. I would love to know, actually.
Perfect. Well, I break it down to the three main categories: his domestic policy, his foreign policy, and his character. Okay, he is the worst president of my life, the worst president of your life, and the worst president of the lives of every single person sitting in this circle. Let's start by evaluating his character. He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that has boasted about profiting the naked bodies of beauty pageant contestants, depicted black people as monkeys on his Truth Social, and was sued in the 70s for refusing to rent to black people because he thought that they were quote-unquote poor. And there's about a billion other things I could say. Because of the time on the clock, I'll keep it concise. We look at his domestic policy. There's not a single macroeconomic variable that is better off today under Trump than it was a year and a half ago under Biden. GDP growth is down. We got one of the worst jobs report in modern American history last year, adding only 170,000 jobs to the economy after adding 2.2 million under Biden in 2024. We see that unemployment is up. We saw 1.3 million layoffs. We see the highest increase in the price of gas in 1 month since the Vietnam War in 1967. Foreign policy is a disaster. He said he was going to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day one. He didn't. He said he was going to bring us closer to our allies. Now they all hate us because we impose unconstitutional legal tariffs on them. He said he was going to be the president of no new wars. Then he started a new war of choice in Iran just to deflect away from the Epstein files. And this holistically is why I think that Donald Trump is a terrible president. The mic and the floor are yours.
Okay, thank you. So I haven't been in politics that long as far as like interest. It was like 2016 really opened my eyes. I never thought Trump had a chance, honestly. But I do seem to remember in 2016, a lot of the dialogue around his win was he only won because America's racist, basically saying everyone who voted for him was racist. This is after 8 years of Obama, by the way, who got reelected. So based on that, and after 4 years of not being president and now he's back, why do you think that he won if he's one of the most terrible presidents in our lifetime?
Okay, yeah, I'll give a direct answer to that question. I first want to ask.
Do you want to know the real answer to it? It's because Americans like what they see. Okay, because there's a lot of people that are in this surrounded, as a matter of fact, that are representative of tens of millions of Americans, unfortunately, and they fucking love that shit. They're like, no, I want more dog shit. I want more. I want more and more dog shit. I'm a stupid idiot who deserves less. Okay, that's one of the reasons. Okay, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because the Democrats are also ass. Okay, the Democrats are ass. Let's be real. They're looking at a situation where everyone is screaming bloody murder, where there's a major cost of living crisis, and going, things are fine. I'm a small business. My mother was a small business. We'll give you $50,000 in tax credits if you start a small business. And then they move on. Okay? And so, yeah, if one side is giving you nothing and the other side is like, I will lean into all of your dumbest sensibilities. Okay? All of your dumbest, most idiotic, most primal sensibilities, and people are unfortunately very dumb and angry and racist. They go with the dumb, angry, racist.
To clarify one, do you think that Biden was a bad president?
I don't want to talk about Biden because that's not why we're here.
Right. Okay. Well, I'd expect your answer to that question to be no, of course, but Biden got the most votes out of any president in history. We can't say just because people were willing to vote for a candidate to be president that therefore they were the best option. The reason why I think that Trump won the election had a lot to do with propaganda surrounding the negative economic impacts of the pandemic. Okay. We saw 9% high levels of inflation, roaring gas prices, and I don't think that these things were caused by Biden. But Biden never was really too publicly outspoken about that, and I think that was a messaging problem with the Dems. The second reason why I think that Donald Trump won had to do with the fact that Kamala Harris only had a little bit over 100 days to run, which I also blame on Biden. He should have stepped down a lot sooner. But ultimately, I don't think Trump won because he's a good president, and that's undeniable. Has your life gotten better in the last year and a half?
My life has gotten better,
and how has Trump made it better? Tell me, specifically.
I honestly do feel safer with him president. I mean, we can beat a dead horse with the closed border. That means a lot to me. Like, I'm a mom. I have kids. It's important to me that, and I live in LA, which is like crazy, right? Do you live out here or no?
It's crazy. Why is LA crazy?
No, I don't. But you would be safer to leave your children with the average undocumented immigrant compared to the average citizen. They're 2.5 times
I would
less likely
actually
to
be
commit violent
safer
crimes
with
compared to
my
the average
kids
U.S. citizen.
in my home with me. That's why I
agree.
homeschool, and that's why I'm a mom. And my
Oh my gosh, she homeschools. Oh, the next generation is cooked too, bro.
children come first. So for me, being able to do that is a blessing. There's a lot of sacrifices that come with that, especially in this economy. I would be lying if I didn't say, like, it's difficult with the gas prices. It's difficult with the groceries and the tariffs. There's a lot of things. Yeah, similar with Biden. There was a lot. Inflation has not increased in the same amount as it did under Biden.
What did Biden do to cause it?
The money to Ukraine and the open border. You can look and you can research about how much it cost us to send the amount of money that we did to Ukraine and
How much money did we send to Ukraine?
what it
over
did
4 years?
to affect our economy, and also with the undocumented immigrants.
How much money did we
they
send
are
to Ukraine?
getting Medi-Cal. They were getting money for food and free housing.
How
That
much
does
money did
affect
we
the
send to
economy.
Ukraine in 4 years under Biden?
You tell me.
$220 billion approximately.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. If you're going to blame Biden's 9% high level of inflation on $220 billion spent over the course of 4 years, then why don't we see like 50% levels of inflation, considering the fact that in the last year and a half, Donald Trump has passed the big, beautiful bill, which according to most estimates, is clocked in to cost us around $3.4 trillion over the course of 10 years. Or the simple fact that he's spending $1 billion a day on a war in Iran. He's going to spend just as much money on this war.
You see, you don't understand. That's good, though. That's the good kind of expenditure. I will not elaborate.
Iran, as Biden did in 4 years on
I think
Ukraine in less than a year.
I think
and on
that's
top of that,
something
the
we have to
cherry
wait
is
and see.
Donald
And I-
Trump has continued the funding
and
to
I
Ukraine,
think the important
blaming
thing
a 9%
is-
high level of inflation on $220 billion worth
What the hell's going on with my
of
computer?
expenditure is nuts, especially when we consider that the Biden-Harris administration spent half of what the Trump administration spent in their first term.
I get what you're saying, and I think both of us, at the end of the day, we want what's best for America. I think we have different plans or strategies to get there. But the main thing I did want to come up here and say, I don't think you really answered it, was if Trump was the worst president in our lifetime, how did he win twice, if not 3 times, depending on who you talk to?
Oh my God, she believes. Oh, what a queen. She's lending credence to the notion that Trump is a 3-term president, actually.
Exactly. So if he was that terrible, either we're and I mean, you can say, are we dumb as a box of rocks? Like, are we the stupidest people? I've been told I'm internalized racism,
Do you want me to be
internalized
honest?
misogyny. I would love for you to be honest.
I don't think that anybody in the circle is particularly intelligent.
Okay. And I understand that that's how people see us.
Yeah, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop there. You've been voted out. Thank
Okay.
you. Return to your seat.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, Tia.
If you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, come on. Hogged him his
My
prime.
name's Leia.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Just a little background. I am currently active duty in the United States Marine Corps. I'm not here on
Be careful,
behalf.
hashtags.
I'm not here on behalf of the Department of War, by the way. I also grew up in Jerusalem, Israel. And I think that Trump has done a lot for me personally. And I feel like that's what we should all be here speaking about.
Okay, respect. You know, if someone's going to put their body on the line for Israel in the American military, it should be someone who grew up in Israel. You know what I mean? You don't usually get that. To be fair, you don't usually get that. Okay? Normally, it's a dude from Iowa that's supposed to go and die for Israel. You rarely ever get an American Marine who's from Israel that's serving in the American military. So that's cool. I like that. That's rare.
Extent. I've gotten paid more under him. I've gotten bonuses under him. The military is tightened up under him. And from that perspective, he's my commander in chief, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Out of everybody sitting in the circle, you have the most reason to not support Trump. Could I tell you why?
It's true. Well, you're talking to a U.S. Marine, Dean. Good luck.
I would love to know why.
Because you've
Donald Trump has actually made us get new crayon rations, and they're delicious. So that's another great reason why I love my commander-in-chief.
your oath. You took an oath to defend the Constitution from enemies overseas and domestic, correct?
Correct.
Can we agree that an enemy to the Constitution, domestic or foreign, would be a person who thinks that the Constitution should be terminated, is intentionally and belligerently infringing upon it?
Can you go in depth with that, please?
Well, I mean, I think that is all the context that would be required to understand an enemy. If there's somebody that is intentionally and belligerently infringing on the Constitution, has suggested that maybe we should terminate it before, can we agree that person would be an enemy to the Constitution?
That would be an enemy. I do agree with you, but I don't agree with you if you're saying that's what Trump has done.
December of 2022, Trump went on Truth Social and said that because of the 2020 election, the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, including those found within the Constitution, would be allowed. And in the last year and a half of his presidency, he has directly infringed on the 14th Amendment, threatened the first, threatened the second, infringed on the fourth, infringed on the 10th, and threatened to infringe on the 23rd, on top of Article 1 and 2. Donald Trump is a domestic enemy to the Constitution.
I do not agree with that whatsoever.
So then
just because you're stating all these things, kind of like a fact check, but
Yeah.
he hasn't actually put those in place.
Executive Order number 14160 was put in place. It
Okay.
attempted to take birthright citizenship away from the children born to undocumented immigrants on American soil. But that is a long withstanding ruling from SCOTUS, regardless of its prior veto in 1989, saying that undocumented immigrants are within the jurisdiction of the U.S., or U.S. versus Wonka-Mark in the late 19th century, arguing that the only people who do not have a constitutional claim to birthright citizen would be members of militant invading forces, foreign diplomats, and Native Americans, which was later updated through federal law. We know for a fact that the 14th Amendment covers the protection of birthright citizenship for the children born to undocumented immigrants. Donald Trump says, well, I'm going to change that, and passes an illegal, unconstitutional executive order stating otherwise. That is a domestic threat to our Constitution that you as a member of our DOJ, as an active duty service member of the Marines, should absolutely protest and stand in wide opposition against.
So that I would not agree makes him a domestic enemy. This is militant. This is what I signed an oath for and what I raised my right hand for. It's militant, and that has not affected us in that military aspect. I don't think so. If you could give me an example of how so, as far as...
Wow. What do you say to that, Dean? She went the long road, but she still arrived at the same conclusion. It's called nuh-uh. And it is the most effective counter that Trump supporters have when you can literally go open up the fucking Constitution, bring newspaper articles and be like, see, this is where he's violating it. You could be like, here are some constitutional scholars saying Donald Trump is actually directly at odds with the Constitution and is like actively trying to eradicate due process. All of that work, and you just get fucking owned, libtard. She just said, nuh-uh. Don't think so. It is kind of crazy. It's so OP to just be like, no.
Is like immigration and all these people who have joined the military to get papers for their parents and stuff like that, whether they were born here or not, it's been in effect and it's been very helpful for them.
What were your thoughts on Donald Trump calling for the execution of 6 sitting Democrats in Congress who reminded you to abide by your oath?
6 what?
6 sitting Democrats in Congress posted a video saying, if you're given a legal order, you don't got to follow it. And you should know that's what the UCMJ says.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And Donald Trump called for their execution because of that.
I don't know much about that,
yeah,
honestly.
I'll tell you. So
yeah, please do.
He went on Truth Social. He responded to an article talking about the 6 Democrats in Congress who posted a video saying like, oh, you remember your oath. Don't follow any unlawful orders if Trump were to give you one. And he calls them seditious traitors. Follows it up by saying traitors punishable by death. And then he reposts a follower's comment that says, hang them, George Washington would. Okay? So he falsely accuses them of a crime they didn't commit. You and me could agree it's not treasonous to tell the military not to follow unlawful orders. UCMJ once again. And then he says, well, because of this crime that he's accusing them of that they didn't commit, they need to be hung. That's him directly calling for the execution of 6 Democrats in Congress that were just simply reminding you of the UCMJ. How could you stand by such a maniac?
No, honestly, we have multiple times gone against if it does not follow along with the UCMJ throughout history in the military, and they've been awarded for that if our military leader, and for example, Donald Trump is one of them, but if they go against what the UCMJ does, we are allowed to go against that.
Yeah.
And so...
that's all the Dims were saying. And then he said they needed to die because they said that.
No.
Yes. He said...
He said what?
Quote,
who needed to die?
These Democrats. He said that their sedition is punishable by death. Okay, the sedition that they didn't commit. And then he followed that up by reposting a comment that said, hang them, explicitly, hang them. That was him calling for their execution. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. I feel like you're maybe one of the more reasonable people that I've spoken with today. You should be able to see this so clearly. And maybe this might even be an historical moment here on Surrounded where I'm able to change the mind of a guest on the show. That'd be huge.
That would be huge if it was going to happen, but it's not.
Oh,
Nope.
My
We're
goodness.
out of time. We have to pause there.
Nope. You ain't changing my mind, liberal Spider-Man. Yeah, that would be amazing if I had a mind that you could change, but I have none.
My final Surrounded claim is Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about any of you.
If you want to debate Dean's claim, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hi, Dean.
Okay, well, I think that my claim here is clear. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about anybody in this circle. What I mean by that is just Donald Trump generally doesn't care about women. He's a very misogynistic asshole.
Promises made, promises kept.
Opposite. But
Number one, he's got more women on his cabinet than most presidents did.
And he's fired, what, 4 of them?
Doesn't matter.
I think it does. Every
If they
person
don't,
he's
if they
fired so
don't
far has been a woman.
perform, you fire them. Pam Bondi did nothing.
Yeah, she was a terrible AG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She did, and he didn't like that, so he fired her.
Yeah. I think that she was a terrible AG for preventing the release of the files. I digress. I'm interrupting you. Sorry,
well,
go ahead.
and he pardoned the J6ers, like he said he would.
Yeah.
Wow. So he released more pedophiles into the wild. Incredible. I love that. Amazing.
And now he created a weaponization fund, which I think is great. And he forego all his money, which is $10 billion. And he took $1.7 billion, 1776, to give to the people that refuse to take shots.
Oh my God. I'm always wondering like who actually falls for this cheap applause. His supporters are so fucking stupid, dude. Like she literally said he refused to take $10 billion and actually took 1776 to give to his followers. First of all, none of that is true. He was not getting $10 billion of tax-funded revenue. Okay? That was not happening. And when a judge who was overseeing the process looked at it and was like, wait a minute, this is the government suing the government to give money to the guy who's the leader of the government. This doesn't make any sense. They were like, okay, never mind. Just give us $1 billion and we'll call it quits. That's it. And even that is not going to happen either. Ugh.
That were fired because they didn't want to get the vax, that were targeted by the Biden DOJ, grannies that were thrown in prison, people that literally just stepped foot on the Capitol grounds and were thrown in prison for years.
Yeah.
No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and the lowest prescription prices that we've ever had.
Okay.
Safe borders, no more child trafficking.
Okay, listen.
I think he cares about us.
Let's start with that
immensely.
$1.8 billion slush fund.
Yeah.
You said it was his personal money. That's not true. It's funded by the taxpayers.
It's owed to him.
Secondarily, it is an absolute disaster.
Just like all the money comes from
It's
taxpayers.
crazy that our president is willing to give $1.8 billion to people such as the J6 terrorists.
Well, they're not
Genuinely.
terrorists.
Well, I mean, I think they are. For instance, there were
Were you there?
176 people who were criminally convicted of deadly assaults on police officers. Take, for example, DJ Rodriguez, who drove a stun gun into Officer Fanone's neck while Officer Fanone was on the ground getting beaten with metal rods.
No, it's been
as the
proven.
crowd
First
was
of all,
screaming,
Lila
grab his
Morris-
gun and kill him. And then DJ Rodriguez pled guilty to doing this in court after Officer Fanone's testimony and his body camera footage proved
Are
it.
you
He has like encyclopedic knowledge of all the things that liberals have seen on MSNBC. Like down to the names of like the police officers and like how they were brutalized and stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's just, I don't know if this is the most valid approach to debating these people. I think it's definitely a valid way to garner attention and also support from liberals. But I don't know if like hogs that watch this go like, damn, he really cooked on this, because they don't give a shit, right? So I think like the premise is good. And, you know, talking about January 6th is not going to get you anywhere with these people. So in his shoes, I think what I would do is just go, yeah, okay, he released a bunch of pedophiles into the wild, some of which actually died to, you know, suicide by cop shortly thereafter. Let's move on. I don't really know how that actually impacts your life personally. It's very clear that Donald Trump doesn't care about your immediate material circumstances, especially considering that he said he was going to destroy the inflation crisis, and the cost of living has gotten only less affordable in the process. And obviously, you can't convert Mar-a-Lago face over here. You can't convert Mickey Rourke. But you can convert maybe some people that are tuning into this. I just don't think that you can do that with like, you know, endless back and forth about like details on January 6th. These guys think it was awesome. Watching no one in the video be convinced by this really is making me wonder how to want to show it to other Trump supporters to change their mind.
Familiar with Roseanne Boylan? She was beaten to death by an officer, Lila Morris. Okay, nobody talks about that. Ashley Babbitt was killed, shot in the neck. She was an unarmed woman, a military woman. There was no need for that. We went there. People went there peacefully and patriotically.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's why they were screaming, "Hang Mike Pence," right?
well, yeah, but nobody that I've
Was
seen.
that peaceful?
There was a lot of infiltrators. There was over 300 FBI agents in there.
Oh, really? Who's
Infiltrating-
FBI?
Exactly. Who's FBI? Right.
Who was
Everybody
president?
says that.
Who was president on
But
J6?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
I read about that the
Because
other day
it was
when they
Donald
said,
Trump.
I read that in Reddit. Who's
And by the
FBI?
way, who did Trump
It was-
pardon? Did he
it was
pardon the
under
Antifa
Obama.
infiltrators?
It was under Obama.
Obama was
That's
president
right.
on J6?
He wasn't Obama. He wasn't president on J6. President Trump was.
Oh, my
But
God.
Obama's the one who's been trying to persecute him. Obama, Biden,
So
since day
Obama-
one with the Russian dossier. Yeah.
So Obama infiltrated Trump's FBI.
He's
and
the one,
implanted.
not just Obama, but all the leftists, all the deep state.
My
planned
friend,
that.
you've lost your
Nancy
goddamn
Pelosi,
mind.
Nancy Pelosi.
Then why? Well, listen. Here's the real
Why didn't
litmus
they have
test.
National Guard?
Well, apparently Donald Trump had the ability to call them there, and this
He
has been
tried
proven
to.
by his second term. According to Donald Trump's second
Did you
term,
not hear?
he doesn't need to try to send the
Mhm.
National
Did
Guard
you not
anywhere.
hear
He just
Nancy
simply can.
Pelosi where
But
she
I want
said
to do
it's
a
my
quick.
fault?
I want to do a quick litmus test on one of the claims that you made about all the J6 Antifa terrorists that were infiltrating the crowd to
I
cause havoc.
actually know that there was over 300
So-
people dressed up as
So do we
Trump
agree that
supporters.
everybody who was criminally convicted on J6 has since been pardoned by Trump?
I believe so.
So Donald Trump pardoned Antifa terrorists?
And
now he's offering them
a lot of
$1.8
them
billion.
didn't get charged, though.
Prove
a
it.
lot of the Antifa people didn't get charged.
Why don't you give me some evidence for that, ma'am?
Well, I don't. Did Ray?
So you don't
Epps
believe
get
in
charged?
so you don't believe in things, right? Without
I
evidence.
believe in
So what's
facts.
the evidence?
I believe in facts.
Okay, so
just like Donald Trump cares about the
it.
American people.
Maybe we should get
America
back to that.
first. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay, we got to pause there. You've been voted out.
Have a good one.
All right. If you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. Would you like to carry on with why you think that?
Trump doesn't care about you, doesn't care about anybody in the circle, because he generally doesn't care about women. He has had a lifetime of vapid misogyny, like the fact that he's a sexual predator, that he's a rapist, that he's overturned policy that has led to 60 pregnant victims per day being denied access to abortion in 10 every 50 states, or an attack on our economy. Everything is worse off today than it was a year and a half ago under Giga Chad Biden. I don't think he cares about you.
He almost took a bullet for this country. And he's faced so many assassination attempts.
Wait, what? What, like, so he almost took a bullet for this country? What the hell does that even... Was Butler, Pennsylvania a theater of conflict? What's going on? Yeah, he almost got killed by a person who had donated to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
He faces threats, as you should know. I mean, you cried with Charlie Kirk.
I mean, listen, specifically.
That's 2 for 2. Oh, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, what do you say to that? She's just fucking one-shotted him.
Yeah, this will be 10 seconds or less so we could get back to the topic. I cried because I thought that it was a mass shooting. My friend was less than 30 feet away. He FaceTimed me running away saying, Dean, I think that there's a mass shooting going on. And regardless of the fact that I didn't like Charlie Kirk, I'll be honest, I think that he's despicable. He endorsed child torture. I still saw a video of somebody that I personally knew, get their jugular ripped open by a bullet. It was rough. And yeah, I shed a tear. That was very intense. But listen, the
I think
topic
it really
is,
humanized you.
The topic is,
that's so much worse than someone on the left clowning on him. Okay? That is so much worse than someone on the left clowning on him for crying after Charlie Kirk got shot. Because these are literally like these are lizard-brained monsters being like, well, it humanized you. Okay, that sucks so fucking bad. Like straight up white supremacists being like, well, you were human in that moment. You were like us.
Donald Trump doesn't generally care about women. He doesn't give a shit about anybody in the circle.
I would lie. That was AI. Yeah, I'd be like, nah, I wasn't crying. It was the Snapchat tear filter. That's what it was, actually. It was the Snapchat. It was the Snapchat filter that made it look like I was crying.
That, well, maybe he does care about women because he took a bullet
Why
for
would
you.
he put his life on the line if he didn't care?
Well, I think the reason why he's willing to apparently take a bullet to the ear isn't because he cares about you, or else we'd see that demonstrated through his actions, words, and policy, which obviously hasn't occurred. But rather, maybe you took a bullet because it was either the bullet or the jail cell for his 34 felonies, attempted coup on J6. And he wants that power. He wants that adoration. He wants that glory. He wants that fame. He wants his name to be in the history books. That's why he's illegally placing his name on the Kennedy Center, or attempting to commit the conquest of America, usurping Iran to be the 51st state, Venezuela to be the 52nd, and Canada to be the 53rd. That's what he wants to get out of it. He doesn't want to help you, or once again, we'd see that represented through his policy, which we don't.
I vehemently disagree with that.
Okay.
He cares for law enforcement. He cares for firefighters,
No.
mothers trying to
What?
get pregnant. And it's
Certainly didn't care about one firefighter, the way he talked about how the bullet missed him. Just saying.
It's disheartening that the way you describe Trump, it's like you're describing a leader in the Middle East, someone that's an actual dictator, an actual fascist.
What?
And it's for someone that has traveled.
Yeah, I mean,
and
true.
has seen how other countries operate. This is the best country in the world, and we're so lucky.
She literally said, you're describing Trump like a brown person, okay? White leaders like Trump don't behave like that.
To have Donald Trump as a president, and I'm disheartened that you can't see that.
Okay, you said that he cares about...
It is kind of funny, though, because Trump is very, like, Saudi royal coded. Down to the gaudy aesthetics. There is also one Middle Eastern dictator that you could point to that's like a one-to-one, Benjamin Netanyahu, but...
about law enforcement, then why did he pardon 178 people who attempted to assault or kill cops on J6?
On January 6th.
Yeah, he pardoned, like we went over this earlier. DJ Rodriguez, drove a stun gun into Officer Fanon's neck. Gave him a heart attack. He had to be raced off to the hospital. DJ Rodriguez was then thrown in jail for 10 years. Trump says he's a patriot, gives him a full and complete presidential pardon, and has now created a $1.8 billion slush fund that's going to line DJ's pockets. Dude, there's no way he cares about cops if that's what he's willing to give to a would-be cop killer.
Well, honestly, I don't know all the details of that.
If everything that I just said was true, would you concede that Donald Trump does not care about law enforcement?
I would be curious why I don't know what information he has that I don't, so I would have to place my trust in the President of the United States.
Did you place your trust in
We got
Biden?
to pause there. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat. If you would like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Liz.
Hi.
All right. Well, I mean, you know my thoughts. I think that Trump is the worst president of your life, and I think that he consistently demonstrates that through his rhetoric and policy. What are your thoughts?
I love Trump. And honestly, I love everything that Trump is doing with Israel. I'm Jewish. I'm very pro-Israel. I know how you feel about Israel, but I feel like you probably don't know the facts. I also love what Trump is doing with Iran, because if he does care about women, he wants to free the women of Iran from the Islamic regime. He wants to free the women all around the world.
Yeah.
And tell me what you like about Iran or Palestine and how they treat women.
Well, I actually want to start off with a claim that you made about Iran. Is Donald Trump negotiating with the IRGC to achieve a denuclearization agreement today?
There's no negotiating with terrorists.
Okay, well, according to Trump, that's not true. He says that there are active ongoing negotiations and they're performing greatly.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the reason why I ask you this question is because the IRGC isn't going anywhere, because Donald Trump has already said that he's achieved all of his military objectives in this.
I love Israel and I hate Iran because Iran mistreats women. Meanwhile, Israel has killed more women than Iran has. So by that same standard, if that's the standard that you're applying to whether you like or dislike a country, you know, Israel is far worse. So, you know, some food for thought.
War. He's already, quote unquote, cooed the IRGC and committed regime change by just getting more, quote unquote, moderate voices to lead the IRGC. And now he's actively negotiating like a 30 to 50-year agreement with them so they will never have the ability to nuclearize again. What this means is that Donald Trump actually wants the IRGC to stay in charge of Iran, or else this denuclearization effort that has costed us 13 lives, $1 billion a day, and higher gas prices and oil prices everywhere would be for
Donald
nothing.
Trump wants
And
to
because the
completely
IRGC is not
annihilate the
going,
IRGC.
then he wouldn't be negotiating with him. He wouldn't be trying to get a deal with them. You don't advocate to get a deal with a party that you don't think should exist.
Here's the thing. Islam right now is taking over all of these countries. They've taken...
Islam is taking over all of these countries. Iran. Islam is taking over the country of Iran. The fuck are you talking about? It's been a majority Muslim nation for hundreds of years. What are you saying?
over most of Europe. They're starting to take over in the United States. He has to do this in a very careful...
Islam is starting to take over the United States. Holy fuck.
...careful manner. There are billions of Islamists who are trying to take over every... They will not stop until they have infiltrated every country.
This
Their
is so
words,
disgusting.
not mine. How it's literally what they say.
It's so
They say they will not
gross.
stop until
No.
Islam is in every single household.
This is
That is what they
insanity.
say, and that is why we need Israel, and that is why Trump is going to do everything he can in his power to annihilate the IRGC, which is what needs to happen.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so first and foremost, if I could compulsorily puke on this table without getting you dirty, I probably would, because everything that you just said was legitimately disgusting.
How is that
First and foremost,
disgusting?
for you to demonize and turn all Muslim people alive
Not all Muslim, no,
into
no,
this
no.
into this monolith.
Islamists,
You said that
extreme
there was.
Islamists,
You said that there were billions of Islamists infiltrating
are.
every crook and cranny of the
But
world.
they are.
So I think
Have
that
you traveled?
Listen, I think that we
Where
absolutely.
was the last place you traveled to,
Let
internationally?
me respond to what you said.
Or have you gone to New York?
I think
where
that
they're literally doing prayer in the streets?
Yes, if you pray in public, then all of a sudden you're extremist. Go tell that to every Christian evangelical that put their hand on Trump's shoulder in the Oval Office on camera. It's different because it's another religion.
100%
Exactly.
different.
When it's
Because
about Jesus. No, listen to what I'm saying here.
Christians don't want to go into every
listen to
single
what I'm saying
country
here.
and take over.
Listen to what I'm saying here. When it's about
Jewish
Jesus.
people don't go into every single country and try and take over.
Oh, right, and that's why they're going into the West Bank. That's why they're going into Gaza. That's why they're going in
First of all,
Lebanon. Listen to what I'm saying here.
Israel backed out of Gaza in
Listen to what I'm saying here.
2005. Get your facts straight.
And what's going on in the West Bank?
Yeah, when Israel actually invades Lebanon, they're not taking over. It's different. That's like a different thing. It's actually when Muslims coexist in America, that's an invasion. When Israel militarily invades Lebanon, that's a totally different thing than an invasion, and it's good, and it should happen more frequently. This seems like sound analysis. When Israel takes over more territory from Syria... What is this 2005 stat she's clinging to? Israel removed the settlements that existed in the Gaza Strip in 2005 and completely relinquished control to the Palestinians, while also basically hermetically sealing Gaza from all around and applying tremendous restrictions on what can go in and out of the Gaza Strip. That's what they consider to be giving the Palestinians autonomy. Can you tell she's pro-Israel? Yes, by her neck veins and how much she's fucking chirping. I can tell she's pro-Israel.
Hamas has literally been in charge of Gaza since 2005.
And what's going on in the West Bank today?
It is a recognized terrorist organization.
And what's going on in the West Bank?
Israel literally has backed out. When you have people, you have a tiny little country the size of New Jersey, and you have every single country around attacking it. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, let's hone this in. Well, what I wouldn't want to happen is like vapid war crimes.
Do you think that Israel should
25-mile
exist?
radius. One moment. I don't think that any country has an inherent right to exist. I think that people have a right to self-determination. A country is a collective of people. Countries in and themselves are not moral entities.
Explain to me.
I am explaining it to you.
No,
Let me
no,
speak. I don't want you to interrupt me. I want to answer your last question. You asked me a good one. You said, Dean, do you think that Israel has a right to exist? I think that that question is incomprehensible. And the reason why I say that question is incomprehensible is because a state is not a body in which has rights. People are entities in which have rights. A collective of people collectively have a right to self-determination. But the social construct of a state and a government is just a figure of our imagination through the collective of civilization, not an entity in which has rights.
How many Jewish people live in Palestine?
I want to be able to respond to
How many
everything.
Jewish people live in the 57 Muslim countries?
Liz, what you're doing is you're attempting to overwhelm me with questions, which is a gish gallop. I want to ensure that I have proper time to go over every statement that has left your mouth, particularly the first statement that you made about the billions of Islamists calling them radical because they pray in public. Christians pray in public all the time.
That's not why I call them radical because they pray in public. I call them radical because they literally say that they will not stop until Islam is in every single household in every country, and they have completely taken over. And you can see them say that everywhere.
I think that every mainstream religion, wishes that everybody on earth agreed with
Not
their
at
religion.
all. No.
Yes, of course they do. Let me explain to you why.
Christians
are you
don't really,
are you a Christian?
I'm Jewish.
Okay, here, listen. I'm going to ask you a question to the Christians in the circle. Do you guys think that the only way to get to heaven is to have faith in the gospel?
Absolutely. Jesus Christ.
Amen. And now I want you to put your flag down, okay, if you don't want everybody to go to heaven. Everybody still has their flag up. What that tells me is that everybody with their flags up thinks that the only way to get to heaven is to be a Christian, okay, and they want everybody to go to heaven. What does this mean? They want everybody to be a Christian. So from this guest's line of argumentation, everybody with their flag up is a radical extremist, no different than the Islamists that want everybody alive to believe that Muhammad is a prophet.
Okay, I have a question for the circle. All of the Christians in the circle, do you believe that if someone does not recognize Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, that they should be killed?
No. Based.
Islam does.
So, wait, what? No, they do. What? That's not true. Okay, this argument is also really fucked up because it's kind of not dissimilar to what like a lot of anti-Semites present as like the way Jesus Christ is depicted in the Talmud and stuff like that. And they'll always say, like the real anti-Semites who hate Muslims too, but they'll always say like Muslims actually respect Jesus Christ because Jesus Christ is considered a prophet in Islam, as opposed to under, you know, the Talmudic interpretation, Jesus Christ is like boiling in excrement or whatever. So, yeah, Jesus is in the Quran. That's just completely made up. But having said that, of course, the idea that like Muslims want to kill non-Muslims is so ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a really argument to rebuttal. Listen, I agree that when you read the Quran and the Hadiths through a particularly fundamentalist scope, you could absolutely yield the conclusion that we should kill everybody that's not a Muslim, 110%. And I disagree with that fundamentalist interpretation of the Quran and the Hadiths. And I think the people who don't are crazy. But we could do the same thing to the Christian Bible. When we look at the Christian Bible and we read it through a fundamentalist scope, well, then all of a sudden, it is totally okay to own slaves because of Leviticus 25, verses 44 through 46. Genocide is totally fine sometimes because of 1 Samuel 15:3. And sometimes it's okay to impregnate kids because the historical representation of Mary's age under a fundamentalist scope. under a fundamentalist scope is that Mary was around 13. And the reason why I'm giving you the fundamentalist interpretation of the Christian Bible isn't to shit on Christianity as a whole, but is rather to say that when you read any religious text through that fundamentalist perspective, you could always yield grave immoralities like slavery, pedophilia, or killing people who disagree with you. But the thing is that a lot of Christians, alongside a lot of Muslims, don't hold to that fundamentalist interpretation of their respective religious texts that yield those grave immoralities and rather practice their religion in a quite benevolent way.
The issue is you have people in Iran who are literally suffering, people who had to flee Iran for
People in Iran who are literally suffering, which is why we have to kill them. God, I hate the religion arguments so much. I hate religious arguments in general. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's all subject to personal beliefs and interpretation. It's all arbitrary. And ultimately, it doesn't matter. And there are billions of Muslims around the world that don't abide by whatever fucking thing you think they do. Clearly, it's just pure Islamophobia.
37 years ago, who are still suffering to this day, people all around the world, because the Islam extremists, the ones who are also in charge of a lot of these countries, will kill you. They will behead you. They will do whatever they can to harm you if you do not believe with what they believe in, if you do not agree that the Prophet Muhammad is the one and only, and Islam is the only religion, and that should be allowed in the world.
Right.
So that's the thing. We are dealing with this today with Islam, and that's where the issue lies.
Okay, we're going to stop there. We're out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the dialogue.
All right. I just want to give snaps to everybody in the circle so far. Good job. Dean, snaps to you. Good job. Let's take a breath. It's been a heated episode. For the last portion of this video, I ask that you look around the circle and select somebody who you want to come back to the center and debate their claim with.
Oh God. See, there's so many options here. I don't know. People might hate me at home for this one. I wanted to respond to what she had to say.
Optimus Prime. Yes. Yes. Optimus Prime. Oh, that's amazing. Dark MAGA, Dark MAGA. Oh.
Well, I'll give you credit. You're brave to pick me, so that's good.
Or dumb.
My surrounded claim is that Democrats sold our country out.
Hell yeah, she's right. Queen. She's so right. Oh. She's right. Yeah, bitch can't. Bet you got no answer for this, huh, Dane?
Have an explanation of what you mean when you say that?
Well, first off, their open border policies, sanctuary cities, which are completely unconstitutional. Thank God we have Sheriff Chad Bianco running for governor. Hopefully we'll eliminate that. They said Russia, 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 right? About President Trump. Well, who sold our uranium to Russia? And I love when Trump was talking to all of these European countries. He says, you guys keep screaming Russia, Russia, Russia. Why aren't you buying oil from us? Why are you buying it from Russia? So there's so many good things that Trump has done and the Democrats.
Wait. I mean, then she must love Biden, right? Biden rerouted so many of the energy contracts away from the natural gas that Europe was getting from Russia and started forcibly selling them American LNG. Not only that, but also Biden blew up the fucking pipeline too. So, it's kind of, if that's your fancy, I mean, Biden was goated. It turns out Democrats were doing all of those things. But I guess they were doing, you need to get a Jube strictly to get clips with people like this. I do love her.
Have completely, I'm from Iran originally. The fact that Obama.
Wait, she's Iranian? Wow. I knew there was a reason why I loved her. That's crazy. She does not look like a Cuba Day enjoyer at all. I'll be honest. Her name is Shiva Duh. I feel like if I were to bust open a nice Cuba Day, I don't think she would be in favor of that. She seems like a burger gal. Peep the shirt. She's a Beverly Hills Persian. Yeah, Beverly Hills Freedom Rally. President Trump.
I gave boatloads of cash to that evil regime. Makes me so angry. So I love that Trump annihilated General.
Okay, Trump is. Ooh. Yikes. Trump's giving more money. Trump's giving more money to Iran now. Oops.
Soleimani and a proxy guy in Iraq offed him because he killed 10,000 people, including women and children.
Okay.
So,
yeah, a lot.
Yeah. So I am so happy for him getting rid of the nuclear facilities, along with Benjamin Netanyahu, with the intelligence that they brought in and the weapons, and they are our only allies. And the liberals hate Israel.
Yeah.
This was like, it could have been World War III. If we didn't get rid of this stuff, you and I might not be here the next 5-10 years.
You should hate Trump then.
Oh, I should love him because he just stopped World War III. He stopped the deep state from destroying this world. And that's what Marxists do. That's what Marxists do. They have no grip on reality. They have no God. And they don't understand what's actually going on because they're more concerned about putting...
She's cooking again. Yeah, stop laughing, Dean. She's cooking you. She's fucking cooking your ass, dude.
Men and women's bathrooms in their sports.
Oh my goodness. What's a communist? Can you define that word?
Yeah, it's somebody that thinks that we should not have our own private property. So the government gets to choose, which is, I don't want the government to be my mommy and daddy, okay? It's supposed to be a representative government, which is called a constitutional republic. We are not a freaking democracy.
Okay. Well, we're not a democracy.
Yes. Go look at John Adams and what he said about democracies.
So first and foremost, you weren't necessarily right about what a communist is. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. Now, on to your second point here about
and did it work? Did it work? Have you watched Dr. Zhivago?
Can I respond? So you said that we're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic.
Correct.
So a constitutional republic would be a type of representative democracy. And what I mean when I say that is these two phrases are used interchangeably. Because under a republic, we have duly elected leaders that then represent, the interests of the constituents of the nation. Under a representative democracy, we have duly elected leaders that represent the constituents of the nation.
A democracy is minus a constitution and the rule of law. So
what?
So it's basically, if you're saying you're a democracy, the 51% could go and kill.
Toby Durden liked my tweet. Shut the fuck up. Which one? Was it a video of me yelling about Turby Derby? Oh my God. We just got the Turby Derby. We got the Turby Derby notice. Which one? Link the tweet, Audrey. Folks, it's happening. Oh my God. Stop spamming and link the tweet. We just got, ladies and gentlemen, we just got the Turby Derby notice. It's a big deal. What is this? Wait, this one? Ignore the Toby Doden, please. He was stimming. Which, if you want to carry the flame, we're at level 6 hype of. Wait, where? This doesn't even. There's only 14 likes on this. It wasn't even directly. We're smoking on that Dusty Johnson pack, regardless. Regardless. His runoff is tomorrow.
Off the 49%.
That's called a direct democracy.
So, but pure democracy.
When Donald Trump said that he took a bullet for the American democracy, he was wrong?
Well, he likes to use that word, I think, to reach out to the Democrats. Right? I believe he's wrong because I don't believe we're. I don't believe we're a democracy. I don't like the word democracy. Right. I have a twitch when I hear the word because
it's almost just like you go crazy.
It's democracy, hypocrisy, bureaucracy. I mean, it's just
okay. Now another claim they made there is that about
you want to throw up. I want to throw up when I hear the word democracy.
Yeah, MAGA. So listen.
Okay, it's you said MAGA like a swear word. Why did you say that like a swear?
You can't be this sensitive. You cannot be this sensitive. Like if you're MAGA, you can't be like, oh, why'd you say MAGA like that? I don't like the tone of your voice.
Word. Isn't that a good thing? Make America great again?
Well, what's not a good thing is saying that you're making America great again by taking health care away from 10 million low-income Americans like Trump did, taking food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans.
He got rid of the fraud in the health care.
Can I speak?
Yeah, but
Thank
you're
so
lying right now. You're lying.
So I'll go ahead and restart, and I'll give you my sources at the end.
Okay.
Composure is important, ma'am.
Oh, you're going to talk down to me? I'm your elder. You have respect for your elder.
So first and foremost, Biden is your elder. And you don't have any respect for him.
Well, because
so let's stop it with the hypocrisy.
He's an evil man.
You asked me, why do I use MAGA like a swear word? Because Donald Trump has used that phrase, make America great again, to represent actions like taking health care away from 10 million low-income Americans through the big, beautiful bill. Per the reports from the Congressional Budget Office, which is ran by Republicans, liberal estimates are a little bit higher at like 17 million people. Took food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans through the big, beautiful bill as well. And according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, he reduced the purchasing power of the average American making at or under $51,000 per year. He refused to abide by a court order to pay out food stamp benefits for 12 million starving children in America during the last 12 days of the government shutdown. Okay, he's abused his power and privilege as the president to position himself above the law. One of the last things that you said when you were up here on the last prompt was, oh, I thought everybody was above the law, except for Trump. Okay, a couple weeks ago, we woke up in a new America with a new system of justice.
Look at her deploying "nah" without even saying it. She's just going like this. Very effective. Do you understand?
Where you and Trump could commit the same crime, tax fraud, you could be thrown in jail for it, and he can't even be investigated for it because of his deal with...
By the way, this was Democrats sold our country out.
IRS. And all of those things, when they are used to represent the claim, make America great again, absolutely do make MAGA a slur. It's embarrassing to be MAGA. I mean, get a grip, you guys. Get a grip. And I said a lot there. I'll let you to respond. But I have so much else to say. You know, like you were talking about like how we need to prevent Iran from getting nukes. We're at a worse place with Iran today than we were 10 years ago.
Not true.
Thanks to Donald Trump.
Not
Obama
true.
got us an agreement to prevent them from nuclearizing until 2030. Donald Trump tore it up because it has Obama's signature on it. And about the whole respect your elders thing. So you can't expect me to respect you because you're older than me. If you're going to turn around and call Biden a good American man with great domestic policy, one of the best presidents in modern American history, a crazy lunatic, evil man with a crackhead son,
sold our
even though he's 30 years your elder.
Ukraine. It's on record. He said, "I'm not going to get, you're not going to get the $1 million loan unless you stop this investigation to Burisma, which his son was a part of and had zero experience."
That's illegal. That's extortion. Why isn't he in jail?
By the way, still running the Hunter Biden was so corrupt, and so was Joe Biden line in the big 226. It'll never stop being funny. Like, dude, Jared Kushner has made like $12 billion. Okay. He's currently doing the Iran negotiation. Zero qualifications beyond the fact that he's basically like an empty wallet for Gulf Royal funds. Okay. That's it. I mean, Donald Trump has personally done a tremendous amount of corruption. Especially this time around. Like, yeah, 226. I like to refer to, I feel like it sounds better when I say 226 instead of 2026.
So he should be, but
Why is it
because the deep state have the judges, they have so much, they've infiltrated this country.
Donald Trump just hired 400 new judges that are loyalists to him. Why doesn't he use one of them to get Biden thrown in jail?
Because unfortunately, he doesn't get to pick which judge is used. And a lot of these judges are just evil.
Why doesn't he even try? He hasn't tried.
There's been so many lies coming from your mouth. I'm like twitching over there. Every lie
Why
that I hear.
The DOJ
You
try to get
said
an
people
indictment
died
against
on
Biden?
January 6th.
I said that they tried to kill cops.
No, they did not try to kill cops.
Yes, they
it
did.
was self-defense. They were being attacked. 4 patriots.
Wait, what? What? Trump supporter says you can do self-defense to a cop? That's crazy. I guess only if you're doing an insurrection, right? And of course, only if you're doing an insurrection for Donald Trump.
Died that day, and you don't hear anything except for the one that got shot by the cop. Yeah.
How about this? Can I ask you a question?
There's 4 of them that died, and 0 cops died that day. 1 cop died the next day at 9:30 p.m. from a stroke.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. And I feel bad for people like you in your age because you're being indoctrinated with all this evil. You have no appreciation for life. You're willing to kill the most innocent and vulnerable. But if you were the baby in the womb, guess what? You wouldn't want to be aborted. You'd be like, Mommy, please save me, please.
I don't even know what to respond to. There's just a bunch of, it was a big mess. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and start off.
Owned. Exactly. You don't know how to respond to it because you got owned. She did Goo Goo Gaga. She imagined you as a baby in the womb, desperately trying not to be murdered by the abortion doctor. It's over. What can you say at that point? She's so goated. I love her. My queen.
With this, I want to ask you some general questions about your political beliefs because I believe that you hold them without much information. Name one domestic policy that the Biden-Harris administration influenced to get passed through Congress, then signed into law that you don't like. Keep in mind, once again, a policy is a bill passed through Congress and signed into law.
So I don't know that. I just know what he
How
was
many
saying.
amendments are there in the Constitution?
The fact.
How many amendments are there in the Constitution?
I don't know exact off the top
You don't know
of my
how many
head.
articles?
Okay, can I?
How about this?
Okay,
how many
again,
continents are there?
You know a lot
How
of
many
information,
continents
and I'll
are there?
give you that.
How many continents are there?
Okay,
ma'am, how many continents are there?
There's hundreds, but I can't
There's
remember.
7.
Oh.
What the fuck? There's hundreds of continents? Bro, this is why I love MAGA. Okay, you want to know why I love MAGA? Because get him to talk about like flat earth theory or how many toxic carcinogens exist in one variant of a vaccine from 1997. And they will read you the Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay? I'm telling you, they have just spent all of their brain processing power on some of the dumbest, most idiotic, totally irrelevant, and also totally wrong shit that, like, basic facts about the world escape them. Okay? And it's fucking awesome. It's so awesome. That's why I always say, like, yo, if you know this much about this, like, dumb, irrelevant shit that's just untrue, why don't you get invested in, like, Dungeons and Dragons or Yu-Gi-Oh or something? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, just, if you're gonna believe in fake shit, at least deploy that towards a hobby that doesn't make you schizophrenic. You know what I mean? I just don't understand this at all. It's like, why? Why did you use up all of your remaining int points on nonsense? Like, this woman said she doesn't believe in doctors. Okay, earlier in the debate, we watched the first half. I think that was more powerful. She was on the ball in the first half, especially when she said, I don't believe in doctors. That's when I fell in love, right? But if you're going to believe in made up shit, why don't you believe in made up shit that's like giving you joy instead of making you angry? What the fuck?
Oh, 7 continents. I thought countries. Sorry, countries. I thought you were talking about countries. I'm not doing an information war. I'm doing what I saw him do. He glorified a man on Women's Day. He's trying to destroy reality of men and
Trump supporter talking about the destruction of reality is pretty funny.
women. That is a bad thing, and that's a Marxist thing. So, you're asking me all of these questions because you're trying to get me. Okay, yeah, I might not have all of these little
Yeah, who could forget gender abolition, invented by Karl Marx.
things that you remember. But what I know is common sense. And Biden's administration is not common sense. They sold us out, just like Obama, giving money to our enemies instead of helping our allies like Israel, who was the only country to stand and take down those nuclear facilities that could have caused World War III. Let me finish. World War III, except for Israel. Israel was the only one. Donald Trump asked other countries to help because they were affecting them too.
Yeah.
And they had their tail between their legs and did nothing.
So, ma'am, the reason why I picked you to come up to the microphone knowing that it'd be a disaster is because I think that you are a very accurate representation of where the right is at today in modern political discourse and American politics. I think that you and many others are clueless people who don't know what they're talking about, have done no previous investigation or research into the American political system, can't even name a bill that Biden passed that you disagree with, yet you think he's a devil, and blame Obama for all of your problems, including the FBI, quote unquote, going into the J6 riots 4 years after his administration was over. And I think that it is very important for you, me, everybody in the circle, and everybody watching at home to start caring about the world that we live in, start caring about critical thought, and doing investigative research into our beliefs and why we believe them before our world has gone to this shit of baseless claims, propaganda, and just putrid nonsense that is highlighted in the mouths and brains of politicians, the president, and cable news. It's important for us to think critically, and that's something that I don't think you do.
I think it's just straight up one word: projection. Left always projects. That's it. You're projecting all of your faults on me because I actually have life experience, which you don't have, and I have been a liberal, and I stepped out of that when I saw what they were doing with my child at school, who I pulled out and I'm homeschooling.
I've been on the earth for less years than you have, but I've done more with the years that I have.
Okay, you got to stop there.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause for trying.
Oh, my diva, Shiva the diva, fucking melted liberal Spider-Man. Yeah, we got to ban homeschooling, actually. Like, that's kind of crazy. That's my platform. I'm running for president on one issue. I'm a single issue voter and I'm a single issue candidate. Ban homeschooling. That's crazy. I'm sorry. Sorry to all the homeschooled children in the chat, but this is unacceptable. Okay. That'll be all for me for today. I have a thing that I have to get to. A photo shoot that I must get to, but I'll be live tomorrow, and promises made, promises kept on the Jube. Maybe we'll do more Jube tomorrow.